Already half over, Jeff.
Yeah. The most important games of the night happening across the entire state. I know Utah plays, and I know Utah State is playing. The most important games of the night are happening at high school football fields all across the state.
It's actually a big night. So we had a big night last night. We'll talk about a lot of that as the show goes on. We still have a lot of games we'll check in on. But a lot of those are in smaller classifications, rural settings. There are some big games tonight. You'll see on your screen Mountain Ridge Riverton. That's a really interesting one in Region 2.
Mm-hmm. That's a Mountain Ridge team that they haven't been able to really keep it going consistently. They've shown some flashes of being really, really good. Then they've stumbled and had some head scratchers. Riverton looks like a team that right when you think they've got it, then maybe they fall back, but they're well coached. They're right there. That is a game of two teams. Big game for both of those teams.
Yeah, it is. And then you go, bottom left, great game down south with Crimson Cliffs and Pineview. Crimson's looked like the team I think we expected the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Crimson Cliffs, their three-headed monster. McKay Wright at linebacker, and then on offense, Alofopo and Christiansen have been fantastic. And then on the Pineview side, really an extended look at soon-to-be five-star tight end and Brock Harris. I don't think he's quite a five-star, at least on my network. Not quite yet, but he will be soon. I think he's rated, like the 25th best player in the country, regardless of position.
And that's not five-star?
We'll
get into that. We got 3 hours. We'll get into that.
We got a long time.
How about bottom right, Milford Beaver? This is a great matchup. I mean, this is where, I really grew my Milford men heart and, got a lot of Beaver people mad at me. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, I had to take a pie in the face. I mean, all sorts of stuff. My relationship with Beaver did not start off very well, but I think I've won some Beaver Nation faithful.
We'll see tonight.
We'll see tonight.
We'll see how it goes.
Great game. They're both 7-1 coming into this one. It's a huge region matchup. And then top right, look, Ogden had such a great start of the year. They've lost a couple in a row, taking out Morgan. And, we might as well just call them Worgen because they just win, right? They just W. It starts with W's. That's
but listen,
who they are.
Jane, nobody thought that little band of rebels could take down a Death Star, but they did it. Rebellions are built on hope, and there's a lot of hope in Ogden. Morgan has been a juggernaut all year long, but Ogden has played well coached, and they're playing inspired football. They've stumbled the last couple of weeks. This is a really tough game to regroup and to get it back together.
Yeah.
But hey, why not? Why not Ogden? I feel like we've been saying that all year long. Why not Ogden as they started 5-0? Maybe why not Ogden tonight?
So, this is going to show my Star Wars ignorance, but here we go. When you look at that game, it is Ogden wearing the all-white. They're more the Stormtrooper look. It's Ogden, which kind of...
Okay, let's just move along.
We'll move along. Hey, we talk about there's other games tonight. We'll get into those as the night proceeds. But how about we got to start with action from last night, don't we?
Absolutely.
A big night on Thursday night. And in case you missed it, a lot of 6A, 5A, 4A, a lot of 6A and 5A, I should say, had games on Thursday night. Of course, next week there's games Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So for those of you on the stream, you can catch us on KSLSports.com in case you're on the radio. We'll have us talking about players.
Yep.
We'll have some highlights from games last night. We'll also have live action going on. So right now we're looking inside of Milford and Beaver. Milford started with the ball, punted it, Beaver with it just outside of the Milford 20. We'll keep you apprised of that one. But we'll dive into action from last night. A lot of really big games. The one that, let me start with this. Which one stunned you the most, Jeff?
Stunned me the most?
Stunned. Because I'm not going to lie. I got home last night, called the game. It was great to be back out. I got home, and I was flat out stunned when I saw one.
There were a few games that were really good.
Okay.
There was a ton of exciting games. It was maybe the best night of high school football.
It was a great night. Great night.
A ton of phenomenal games. The most surprising result to me, Farmington goes on the road at Davis and comes away with a 28-20 win that really wasn't that close. I think Davis got a late fourth quarter touchdown, but Farmington really controlled that game from the opening quarter. Bodie Sparrow got on the board quick. After that, it was Farmington. They had 14 unanswered points in the first quarter, take the lead into the half very quickly, 14 more points in the second half. Farmington looked very, very good, but maybe a little bit more confusing, a little bit more of a head-scratcher. Davis looked really disoriented at times in that game.
for those on the stream, you can see the highlights in this one, and you saw a fumble. Farmington was able to scoop it up. They had short drives in this ball game, Jeff. When you look at Farmington, they had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Okay, that helps.
Yep.
Then they had 3 other touchdown drives. One of those was 22 yards, and the second one was 21 yards. They had short fields. Davis doesn't do themselves any favors when you set up your opponent with short fields. And when you look at this game, Davis actually had more yards than them. Davis ran more. They threw more. They didn't run more because the running game really wasn't very crisp for Davis last night.
Right.
May have had some injuries that led into that. But this is I was stunned by this. I thought Davis was that team outside of Region 3 and corner that could make a run to a semi. And then after that game, it's like, I don't know who Davis is. And I don't want to overreact, but it's like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, we do have to acknowledge, as it looks like Beaver gets into the end zone on a score. Rushing play really trucked that defender right there at the goal line for Beaver. They go ahead by a touchdown. PAT is pending there. But yeah, for Farmington, we have to acknowledge some things first, right? Davis-Farmington, that is a rivalry game, right? So all of those emotions and all of that stuff, that's there. But I'm with you. I was surprised to see Davis that out of sorts because that's the team that I had pegged. We talked about it on our shows during the week that Davis was my 5th in 6A. I really thought that was a team that could make some noise. And I still think they have the talent to do so.
They do.
Not all is lost. It's not a situation like that. But they've got some things they've got to figure out in a hurry because the team that we thought we knew is clearly not the team that they are today. They can get there. Trayton Bessinger's really, really good. Bodie Sparrow is really, really good. They've got to find that running game. They got to get going on the ground again there for sure. I think Talbot got hurt in that game. Hopefully he's back and they can find some momentum there. But they got to figure some things out about themselves because that team that we saw against Farmington, look, credit to Farmington, they totally took Davis outside of their game plan. But that Davis team does not look like the Davis team that we know they're capable of being.
Yeah, I mean, they lost week 1 to Lehigh. Then they went on an absolute tear. I mean, that offense was over 40 points a game. And then that Fremont game hit. They bounced back with Layton and then Farmington. And look, week 10, they got to go on the road to Syracuse. So that's a gritty Syracuse team. But Davis, no shot at a region champ. Well, I shouldn't say no shot at a region championship. Well, yeah, they cannot win a region championship. No share. No. That's off the table. Yep. So just that was one that I did not see that coming. That one did surprise me.
Do you wonder if, looking at that team, Bodie Sparrow plays both ways this year. I think he only played receiver last year. I don't think he was playing as much, at least, defensively.
Yeah, I think maybe a smidge, but I think you're right. Yeah.
Do you wonder if maybe they're tired? Are they running out of gas a little bit? As there's more guys that are going both ways. They're star players, those big names. They're having to do a lot week in and week out. Do they just need to catch their breath, right, before the playoffs? I don't know, because something doesn't feel right in Kaysville.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough question, right? I don't know that I have the answer to it. I think if Talbot did get hurt, he only had 8 carries.
Yeah.
But he had 40 yards. That's a pretty good clip. So someone said that they were watching the game, they thought he left it. So he may have. I don't want to spread rumors. I have no idea, right? But if that team becomes one-dimensional, they become a whole lot easier to defend.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's what happened or not, right? I have no idea. I think. I don't know that I'm panicked about it because even today, they're 6th in the RPI.
Right.
Okay? So you beat Syracuse, you're still going to have a first-round bye. You're still going to be set up pretty well. Season's not lost. And I do still think they have the pieces. But I think it's a good reminder that you guys, we can't take anything for granted. I do wonder a little bit about that defense. They lost some big guys up front last year. And so, can they to your point, can they line up and deal with the beating and the physicality that an opposing offense when they just say, hey, we're going to come play our game and take it to you? Can they withstand that? I don't know. But they had 350 yards of offense.
They did.
They just couldn't finish drives in the end. Had to settle for field goals. Talk about a turnover. There were some things that just didn't go their way.
Now, on the flip side, we talk about it. Davis is 6th in the RPI still, so they're
Yep.
right there. Farmington's 7th.
Here's the crazy thing. They were, I think, 8th prior to that game at 3-5.
Right.
Which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And we talk about the surprise of Davis. Let's talk about the surprise of Farmington. Travis Hoops.
Fantastic.
Where you been all my life?
Holy cow.
19 carries, 155 yards. Also had a reception in this game.
Yeah.
But, man, like you want to talk about toting the rock and helping deliver your team to victory? Great job.
Travis Hoops, man, over 1,000. He's about 1050 all-purpose yards between his receiving yards and his rushing yards. He's got 9 touchdowns on the year. He was a star in this game. There's something about that Farmington team. I was talking to a coach a little bit earlier this week about Farmington specifically, and they said, and I'll quote as close to verbatim as I can remember, they said, hey, Farmington has no business being 3-5. I mean, in his mind, this team was too talented. They had too much talent on the coaching staff, too much talent on the roster to be 3-5. He thought that they had just stumbled. They were considerably better than their record showed. They put it all together last night. That's a big win for that Farmington team that if they have the talent, I don't know that I'm quite on board with what this coach was telling me, but if that is who you think Farmington is, that's a big confidence boost for them to beat Davis.
Well, I don't know who that coach is, but I want to come back to that. Crimson Cliff scored early. Pineview with a nice drive. They got inside the 10. That's the one you see on your screen. Morgan is also driving the football against Ogden. We'll keep you up to date on those. For those, we'll kind of recap this Pineview drive. But to that point, let's just talk about Farmington. Let's extend that just a little bit. They lost to Bountiful 17-12. That loss looks really good right now.
Yeah.
They lost to Orem 24-19. They led the entire way against Orem.
Yep.
That loss looks really good right now. They lost to Syracuse 38-37 late.
Yeah.
There's something to this is a much better team than their record would suggest. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
And as much as I like to critique the RPI, because I do, because sometimes the results of the RPI
it can drive you a little batty.
Is a little bit strange. Farmington at 7, I have no qualms about that. When you see them play, that's a very good football team. It
is a good football team, and they're getting better as the year goes on.
Absolutely.
We may actually have a chance to watch them on Wednesday night. There's a little. In fact, let's be honest, it's confirmed. We will watch them Wednesday night. Speaking of watch, let's head out, see if Pineview can finish off this drive on a 3rd down.
There. Looks like he's got enough for the first down, though, as number 3, Quade Sorensen, makes the catch over the middle to move the sticks for the 1st and goal for the Panthers.
It looks like they're bringing in their Wildcat formation. Levi Shaw just ran off the field, but what a catch by Quade Sorensen. Had to go to the ground, had to make a diving catch. Great spot by Levi Shaw. There's really only one place you could put that. Great conversion.
Looks like they're going to go Wildcat up the middle, and that's going to be a Pineview touchdown. Maka Fiafia as he finds the end zone for the finds the end zone for the Panthers, Cody.
Yeah,
good response there for the Panthers. They look to tie it up. Let's head out to Morgan. The Trojans on senior night with their first drive of the contest.
13-yard pickup there for Korth. What a play. Ball down on the,
Tate Steele
on the 21.
There. Tate and
Chef dropping, looking, passing across for the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. 21-yard strike.
Lincoln's like, I'll take that. That Lincoln just wide open on that slant and easy touchdown for him.
10 minutes and 27 seconds. There he is. He was going right there.
Morgan, starting early.
That's what they do, man.
Yes, it is.
Holy cow. No, it doesn't matter who they play. Morgan is fantastic.
So for those of you on the stream, Mountain Ridge, that starts with an M. And a no, actually.
Hey, you're right. Basically the same.
Mountain Ridge leading Riverton 7-0. Riverton on a drive here. We'll have that stream up on KSLSports.com on Red Zone as we continue to talk through action last night. We talk about, this one was not shocking, but I would say the separation maybe was the head-on-a-stick rivalry game. Fremont-Weber. Fremont, the only undefeated team left in Region 1 in region play. They're now 7-2, Jeff. They get stronger every week. This is crazy. In Region 1 play, Fremont's offense has scored more points each week.
That's good.
That's good.
That's a good thing.
If you're a Silver Wolf fan, that's a great thing.
Yeah. Look, this Fremont team's the real deal. That game, let's single out one guy for a minute. That game was the Celeste Moa game, right?
Okay.
The Moas have been fixtures at that Weber program for a long, long time. Sione Moa, Ice Moa, and Celeste for a couple of years. He's now playing for Fremont. This is a big game. I actually talked to him a little bit before the game. This was a big game. He was excited. There was a lot of emotions.
Were you there? Did you call him? What do you mean you talked to him before the game?
A little bit in the week. I don't know if you know this, but I do some recruiting coverage in my life, and so I talk to recruits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, weird, right?
See, and I thought this whole time you were just making it up.
A lot of the time I am, but see, now that's the trick.
This whole star thing, I was like, come on, Jeff.
Just enough recruiting coverage that you don't know what I'm making up and what is real.
Well, I'm not going to lie. You just went from a 3-star analyst to a 3.5-star analyst.
Hey,
so, great job, man.
I will take that. So Celeste Moa's got a lot of feelings, a lot of emotion. This is a big game for him.
Yeah.
First minute of the game, he gets an interception, takes it to the house.
Oh, man.
I mean, talk about a way to calm your nerves and say, hey, Weber, we were friends, and I still like you, but I play for Fremont now, and I'm here to beat you.
So I don't mean to be that guy, but here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm curious if it was hard for him to not go and shake hands with some of his Weber friends.
I don't know. That'd be tricky.
It would be tricky. I'm also curious what he did with his Weber Letterman jacket. What would you do with it?
If I were him, I would have worn it to the game. I mean,
that's not going to go over well in your new locker room, Jeff.
No, I think it would be great. Like you could make it a whole ceremony. You show up to the game with your Weber jacket on, and then you have some sort of ritual or something.
So you're getting off the Fremont bus in a Weber Letterman jacket.
Yeah, I think you could find a way to make it work. I don't know.
That's a different kind of style. I mean, you see like NFL guys walking in. They're not wearing the opposing team's jersey walking into the stadium.
But if it's the opposing team's jersey that's your jersey, I don't know. Maybe. Whatever he did.
I am curious what he did with the Letterman jacket.
I'm sure it's in a closet.
I'm sure it is somewhere, yeah.
But he introduced himself to that game in a hurry. The friendly feelings went away within the first 51 seconds of that game. Look, Fremont did it the way that Fremont has been doing it these last few weeks. We've talked about it a bunch. Really, really tough defense. The running game gets going, and then they hit on a big play. They had one 70-yard pass from Manasseh Tuatagaloa to Owen Simpkins. Everything else, they were long, extended drives, and they just ground and pound and worked their way into the end zone. It's really, really hard if you're on the opposing sideline when you have a defense that is just knocking you out. I mean, that's what Fremont's defense does. And then when they get the ball, they just have these long drives. You get bored. You get antsy. You get annoyed. It's tough. Well, Fremont plays really, really tough football.
You also get beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's hard to go play after play after and just boom, boom, boom. Like, it's not easy. You'll see Crimson Cliffs here on the drive. Just update you on another action. Beaver scored again, 14-0 Beaver leading Milford in that 1A battle. We'll, again, keep you apprised. Morgan back on the football leading Ogden 7-0. It's not easy to have to deal with that play after play after play. And then, to your point, I mean, how about Tua Tagovailoa? Young man, sophomore, I believe. Sophomore? Junior. Thank you. 60% completion percentage, 24 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions.
Just received his 24/7 Sports rating last week. He debuts as a 2-star. Okay. He's going to work his way up.
A 2-star? You need to talk to some people. Hey, recruiting expert, you need to talk to some people over there.
It's a debut rating. He'll climb. There's no question.
He's Manasseh, you're 4 for me.
Well, making me look bad now. Morgan just took it into the end zone again.
In fairness, I'm not a recruiting expert, but 2 is low. 2 is low.
2 is low. He will climb. There's no question about it.
There you go. All right. As we have a look at this replay, that's a good throw.
Yeah, Morgan.
That's a big target. I don't know who 14 is, but, man, that's good size on the outside for Morgan, isn't it?
Morgan just does what Morgan does. Yeah, they just score, and they score in a hurry. They're really fun to watch. It's not the traditional 3A football.
Hey, I don't know if we have any DCs listening to us, but if you are, hit me up on Twitter or something. What would you do to slow up Morgan? Because I don't have any answers.
And neither does anybody else. Any of the DCs that have played them this year, they don't have any answers either.
Yeah.
They don't play like a 3A football team.
They do not.
They play like, they look like corner at times. I mean, they spread it out. They throw the ball all over the field, and they find big, huge holes in the
the other thing about Morgan? go to a game at Morgan and try to count how many guys are on their sideline. It is not a 3A program.
Right.
I mean, it is. But their participation there, it looks like a 5A team.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Because it's like every boy in the school comes and plays football.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, Morgan, fantastic.
Okay, so Fremont, Farmington, there's a reason we started there. Guess who plays in Week 10? Told you we're going to be there. Fremont and Farmington, Region 1 championship, just like everyone thought at the beginning of the year. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody.
Like everybody thought.
Yeah.
Like us especially. More than anybody, us. That's exactly what we thought. That's a tough game for Fremont.
We've said that in the last 3 weeks.
It's a tough game for Fremont. Now, I'm not suggesting that they should be the underdogs or that they're going to lose, but these are two teams that have played similar football in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
That it's hard-nosed defense in the running game. So Fremont is playing little Fremont. In all due respect to Farmington, that's kind of how they play right now. And so it's really going to be who executes the best at the game plan that both of them want to try and execute, because it's going to be a very, very similar game plan.
It will be. I'm just looking at the RPM. I'm trying to figure out if there's any way Fremont can jump Lehigh. I don't think the chances are good. But Fremont's sitting at 5 in the RPI as of this evening.
Yeah, I don't think they can.
Yeah, I don't either. Crimson Cliffs driving. They're inside the 25. Meanwhile, Mountain Ridge, you can see that on the stream. They are driving here, leading 7-3.
What do you make of Mountain Ridge on the back of their jerseys? Do you notice what it says back
Yeah,
there?
it says team.
Yeah, but T dot, I mean, it's an
acronym.
for something. I don't know
Yeah,
what.
I did ask them a couple years ago. I'm trying to remember what Mayfu told me. I don't remember what it is. Did you notice Ogden?
I did not.
Back of there says family, but with dots the entire way.
Oh, actually, I do know that is Eric Thompson. He's got something that I can't remember what it
You don't
stands
know-
for,
yeah,
but it was
yeah.
his thing.
Yeah.
So, really good tease. We once knew what these acronyms stood for. We don't know now, and everybody is on the edge of their seats. We've done well, Dane. We have done well.
That's what we call
And I don't know
dynamic coverage.
I don't know that we're going to find out either. We're just going to leave it at that.
That's probably fair. Hey, let's we got a couple minutes before a break. Let me just share one more, because there was another game. I don't want to say this was surprising, because if we were picking games, I would have picked this to go this way.
Sure.
But I heard some facts about this one. Mountain Ridge just scoring a touchdown, by the way, over Riverton, now 13-3. I heard some facts after this one was played, and I was like, wait, is that real? Viewmont beat Bonneville last night.
Yep.
Viewmont beat Bonneville. My apologies. I'm not very good at English. Grew up in Idaho. With that victory, this is nuts. That was just the 4th time Viewmont has beat Bonneville in their last 18 meetings.
Okay.
Think about that.
Well,
Bonneville's had some good football teams, but to lead Viewmont,
I don't know how often those two teams would have played each other.
well, we're going to ask.
We're going to have to go to the Wayback Machine.
We'll check what Al Gore's algorithm says.
Yeah, because as I think through
I
it,
literally just typed in Al Gore in my search engine instead of the site I want to go to.
it's probably not going to get you where you want to go.
It's not going to get me where I want to go.
As I think back to my high school days, and this was before the 6A classification, but Viewmont was a Region 1 team, 5A. Bonneville was a 4A team. I don't know how often those two teams would have played, so maybe you really got to go far back to get to 18 games.
Well, that's what we're going to go look at. I might need a couple minutes,
Yeah,
so
well,
let's head to a break.
I can't filibuster that long. You got to go way back.
We're going to take a break as you're listening, watching to the Friday Night Red Zone on KSLSports.com.
That we're still in the first quarter and we have 3 touchdowns, though. That makes for a fun, interesting game. So let's see how Pineview can come back and respond.
Responded well the first go around.
Already leading by those 2 touchdowns. They'll have the ball on the 45-yard line, their own 45. The ball thrown fairly well. It's just Horner played it perfectly.
Yeah, it was right on the money. There just was no space there between Barnes and Horner.
Here we go. Wheatley with the ball. The Beavers will move heavy on the left side. And there'll be a quick pitch out the left side. Here's Blackner following blockers. And there'll be a flag on the play. I believe this one will come back as well. And it's a gain of 9.
That was a great display of Blackner's explosiveness, though, right there to fire upfield.
Yeah, you can see, and you watch the line, then just cuts back, follows it, and yep, good for 9, but it does come from the back judge. And let's get the official call. Holding
on the offense.
On the offense.
10 yards from the foul, remain first down.
So that will be from the line of scrimmage back 10 yards. No, they're going to say that it's about 3 yards upfield.
Yeah, I haven't yet figured out this new pick your decision on the holding call. What are the
well? So what happens if it's beyond the line of scrimmage? It's from the
line of scrimmage.
Yeah, from the line of scrimmage. If it's behind the line of scrimmage, it's 10 yards.
Okay.
Yep.
If it's beyond, it's from the spot.
Spot foul if it's beyond. 10 if it's behind.
Okay.
So no more 17-yard penalties. Okay, first down and 15. Handoff up the middle. Just not a lot there. Great play by the Tigers. Have to give me a number on that one.
Yeah, 58.
58.
Cannon Carter, I believe.
Yep. So a gain of about 2, maybe 3 on the play. Moves it up to the 41-yard line. Third down coming up. Second down coming up for the Beavers. 10-15 left in this first half of play. Scores 14-0. Beavers on top on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. We're also looking for a player of the game, sponsored by State Farm Insurance. Brent Stapley, the agent, 5451 438 5451. 2 receivers left for the Beavers. Wheatley in the shotgun. Motion for Radden. And Wheatley will follow the blockers on the left side. Has a decent hole. Breaks a tackle and is going to go on that left side. First down yardage for Bodie Wheatley. What a play.
Yeah, great job by Wheatley. Just letting that play develop. Didn't get in a hurry and followed his blockers, and big gain.
And Wheatley will check himself out. He's got a little bit of a shoulder injury, and that was a tough tackle by the Milford Tigers.
He landed right on that sore shoulder.
Yeah, so he'll take a minute, be attended to on the sideline. That'll bring the junior quarterback, Davin Orton, in the game for the Beavers. A talented junior for this team. Orton will hand off up the middle. Hollings had nothing there. He stopped after a short gain.
Andrew Hollingshead on the carry.
Gain of about 3. Really great play. I'm trying to see the number.
Max Williams was
Max Williams.
Welcome back, everyone. We're 30 minutes in. Yeah, Jeff?
Flying
doing
by.
Okay?
I'm doing all right. There's been no V8 this week. I'm doing okay.
Well, I still get compliments on that. They're like, that was funny. Someone told me this week, they're like, man, Jeff is a trooper for doing that. I'm like, I know. He had no idea that was coming.
Nope. Haven't had it since. Won't have it again.
I did not bring any V8 for you tonight, Jeff.
No, and you also ruined any chances we would ever have of V8 becoming a sponsor.
A V8 sponsorship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't ruin it with my words. You ruined it by introducing V8 to the show. So this is on you.
I'm sorry. It really is kind of like gazpacho. It's like cold tomato soup.
It's terrible. Everything about it is terrible.
Not my favorite. Yeah. While we were gone, a couple scores we want to update you on. Milford couldn't do a lot with their possession. Beaver with it, 14-0. They are driving again. What's the likelihood we do not get a Beaver North Summit State Championship game?
I mean, look, who's going to get in the way and stop them? I would think Milford is probably that team. They're not stopping Beaver today.
Milford is ranked 3rd right now in the RPI.
Yeah, you would think.
And ironically enough, Beaver is number 1, despite losing North Summit earlier in the year. Let's head out for those on the stream, looking at Morgan, 14-0 already. How'd they get the ball back so fast? Oh boy, that's usually over the top is a wrestling move. It's also a great movie for those of you who like Sylvester Stallone movies. Go check it out. It's actually in the 80s. Have you seen Over the Top?
Nope. I thought
Jeff?
Over the Hedge. That's what I was thinking with the animals and they still.
You've never seen Over the Top?
I have seen Over the Hedge though, Dan, and I feel like you're not giving me enough credit. For that.
You're not answering my question. No. Have you seen Over the Top?
I've never heard of Over the Top.
You've never heard of Over the Top?
I think actually we talked about this once last year because Moose and I had both seen Over the Hedge. But no, still haven't seen Over the Top. Honestly, forgot about it until right now.
We were doing so good. You and I were doing so good.
Brought up Over the Top and V8, and here we are, 0 for 2.
For those of you, it's now 21-0 Morgan. We weren't very descriptive on that. great route right up the seam, and ball thrown over the top of the defense, and 21-0. Morgan.
They're just so good. I mean, is there? You asked the question. Is there any way we don't see a North Summit Beaver 1A? Is there any way that it's not Richfield and Morgan? Just the way that this season has played out, the way both of those teams are playing, who stops Richfield or Morgan other than each other?
Let me go look, because I'm not going to lie, I still kind of get some of the 3A and 2A schools mixed up.
Okay.
I am interested if Grantsville can maybe cause some ruckus in that.
I am.
Now, let me clarify.
Last week's results notwithstanding.
Well, I'm not saying Grantsville beats Morgan. I think it's going to be tough for anyone to deal with Morgan.
Yeah.
But
can Grantsville beat Richfield?
Can they beat Richfield?
Sure. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Not
now, that being said, I had the same question about Manti, and we saw how that went a week ago, right? So maybe not. But I do think it's a very high probability that it is Morgan and Richfield.
Yeah, I think so too.
And look, I got a B in stats in college, so I mean, I don't know what more validity you need to that claim.
Right. And frankly, I'm excited for it.
I am too. I think your 1A championship's fantastic. I think look,
we are skipping.
It has
a
not
lot
been
of
said,
but I think it would be.
If you had Beaver and North Summit round 2 for a 1A state championship game, I would drive down for that game. If you had Richfield and Morgan for a 3A state championship game, that's one worth driving to go to. 2A, I think this is San Juan. They look much more the part. Had an early season loss, but they are doing what they've done in recent years. I think it's all Broncos, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at the RPI in 2A. I don't think Emory is on that same level. Leighton Christian's not the levels that they've been in previous years. I think you got to look at San Juan and say they're the runaway favorite. Things can happen, but they got to be the runaway favorite at this point.
So we're going to introduce something a little bit different, just because we can. So, week 9, we had games on Thursday night. We had games on Friday night. We started recapping Thursday night. Let's take you out and show you a little action from the gridiron that happened last night. We had a crew out at Bountiful Roy. This was a huge game in 5A. Region championship game. And so we're going to just, hey, why don't we just go check out a highlight? Here's a recap of the Bountiful Roy game for those of you who missed it.
And Robert Young, the most dangerous player in 5A, comes in motion. He gets the pitch, and he's going to throw. Thought about throwing and throws it deep. Has a man! Touchdown, Royals! St. Norris! A gadget play! Beautiful Thursday night from Ernst Efterbano Field, watching as Emerson Geilman pump fakes and throws, and that pass is caught for a first down to Connor Clark. Siaki Fekitoa is the setback. And they fake it to him, and Geilman throws to the end zone. Wide open! Touchdown, Redhawks, Britton Tidwell. Rolling left here in the first period. Here is a screen to Young. Young gets a block. Young, goodbye! Touchdown! Siaki Fekitoa is the single setback. He gets it to the right side, bounces it to the right. He's got a couple of blocks, and he's got a space. And Fekitoa rumbles his way close to midfield. The Bountiful Redhawks. Fekitoa goes out into the pattern. Geilman throws a turn over the middle. That is complete to Tidwell, and Tidwell is gone. Touchdown, Bountiful. Kickoff by Landon Zayas. This time we'll go right through the back. Well, actually, we'll go to the 1, and Robert Young's going to have a chance to return it. And Young's got a hole. And Young's got speed.
Wow.
Young! No flags! Goodbye! Touchdown, Roy Royals! And again, the Wildcat formation remains in. And Young this time is going to run it to the right side, and he's going to have a seam to the right side, and Robert Young is going to score! Touchdown, Royals! Fekitoa remains the single setback as Geilman from the shotgun takes the snap, 4 men on the rush, good protection, bails out, runs to the right side, Geilman's got speed, and Geilman is going to step out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
Got to find a way to put it in.
Geilman sneaks it, goes over the top, and scores! Touchdown! 1 second officially. Geilman, just 3 men on the rush. He gets pressured, He throws down the field. It is caught. Little hook and ladder. Fekitoa gonna rugby toss it across the field. And getting close in. Is it a touchdown? Yes, it is. Unbelievable. And there are no flags. As we begin the second 24 minutes, as we were dead even. And it's a pooch kick by Zayas trying to keep it away. And it's a loose ball on the turf. And a pileup ensues. And the Redhawks have it. Kallman from the shotgun. 3 men on the rush. He's got time. Steps up. Throws. Caught. First down. Young goes in motion. Play action. Gardner throws. Caught. Young in the flat. First down and more. Why not? Young from the gun. Runs it right side. Bangs into a man. Goes down the sideline. There he goes. Robert Young. Touchdown. Tie this game again. Hand off to Fekitoa. Up the middle. Fekitoa. Look out. Fekitoa into the secondary. And finally Russell to the turf. Connor Clark goes in motion. Geilman to throw. Swings it out. Fekitoa. Touchdown. Bountiful. An extra point from the tie. This has been another pooch kick. And this time it is fumbled again. And did Bountiful recover it again? Yes, they did. Unbelievable. Their second onside kick recovery of the game. Tidwell in motion. Fake to him. Geilman breaking tackles. Emerson Geilman. Touchdown. Redhawks in front for the first time tonight. Robert Young lined up slot to the left. Pitch goes to Sella. Gotta set that edge. Sella has a block. Sella into the secondary and ripped down from behind. 5 minutes to go. 4th and 5. They bring just 3. Throw. Tip and intercepted. Intercepted by Tidwell. Gardner, just a 3-man rush. Pressure coming. Fires. Caught. First down. Robert Young. Who else? And he's got it inside the 29-yard line. Robert Young, slot left. Gardner looking. Gardner takes off. Gardner going for the first down. And he's got it. Down inside the 5 to the 3-yard line with a minute to go. Booker goes in motion. They hand it to Sella. And Sella is short. And they're going to have to go quick. 5 seconds. Gardner looking. Gardner going to run. He's not going to get there. And the Redhawks have won the game.
That's awesome.
Man, what a game.
Have you caught your breath?
Look, I pretty casual here, right? I was like this.
Yeah.
I was just sucked into that.
And I think we'd both seen it, and I was still sucked in.
I had not seen it. I wanted to be able to watch it live.
Well,
I hope you all enjoyed my reaction, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
For the whole world to not see.
Reaction shows
first
are
of all,
going big on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah. Let's just settle something real quickly.
Okay.
Because I'm watching that, and we just need to clear the air on something. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
It's probably going to upset a lot of people.
Great.
Roy is the best looking field in the state.
Yeah, I don't think it's close.
It's not. It's not close. You look. You see that end zone with like the middle stripes and the.
And it's the whole thing.
Pusey, well done, man.
They have the sticks are yellow with the everything's great.
It is the best.
The stands are full. Everything is great.
Half the season they do fireworks.
Yeah, it's unreal.
It is, and honestly, like when you call a game there, you're atop the press box. You're right above the grill, so you smell fries the entire night.
Yeah.
And they taste really good too. But
the only game we've ever done together, Dane, was Lone Peak. We were also by a grill. You guys really set me up to look great. Send me down to go get a hot dog down there at the grill. And don't say anything to me. This is the kicker. You didn't say anything to me the entire time. So I'm standing in line with all of the townsfolk just enjoying my time. And then in the middle, you guys cut to me and say, "Hey, Jeff, what are you doing down there?" So not only do I have to explain on air that, hey, I'm getting a hot dog, all of the people around me think I'm a
you're
sociopath,
crazy.
and I just start talking to myself about, hey, guys, getting a hot dog down here.
Because we should clarify, it wasn't quite as common to be talking on like ear pods. Because this was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as common to just have a random conversation to yourself.
No, and clearly my conversation was not an AirPod conversation. It was
that was
not great for me.
I don't think it was my idea, but I'm not gonna lie, it was funny.
It was.
It was funny.
It's good content.
Yeah. 21-7 Crimson Cliffs adding a PAT here. New game for you tonight. Richfield leading Canyon View. Canyon View had scored just a few moments ago to get it back to one possession. And then Mountain Ridge driving here as well, trying to push it to a 3-possession lead over Riverton. Look, let's talk about Bountiful Roy. Roy was the last undefeated team in 6A or 5A.
Yep.
They're at home. That game looks like, again, I wasn't there. I was doing another game, which we'll talk about we got plenty of time. We'll talk about later. They have a 2-possession lead in that one.
Yeah. Let's
talk about the play before the half. I saw that on social media. I was like, wow, that was crazy. Everything I saw was a field angle view. That's the first time I've seen it from a higher perspective. Jeff, I know you're not a fan of officials.
No,
but we were talking about that one.
Uh-huh. I think they may have got away with a forward pass.
Okay, but here's what you have said.
A long time. This is my long-standing policy.
Share.
If the play is cool, let it stand.
So, what do you think of this play?
I thought it was cool, so it should stand.
So you have no problem with this. So for those, there's the ladder. Here's the rugby. That ball goes up 3 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
watching that angle, that ball is ahead 3 yards minimum.
Look, if this were the NFL, if this were college, if there were replay and there were all of these things, then that's on the refs to get it right. In real time, as that's going and that's happening, that crazy of a play, that's going to happen. And one thing I like about high school sports is that it's not replay. It's still that there's that element of refs. That's part of it. And I think that's okay because that's just part of it. Look, that play shouldn't have happened. Like that forward pass was forward. Roy fans are going to be upset about it. There's no question, and they should be.
But here's the other side of that. You have the ball on the 1.
Yeah, well, that and then
you have opportunities
that
to
play. I mean, even just staying at that very play, still had
wrap
more
him up
chances to make a tackle.
Yeah,
that wasn't the first pitch. Right? I mean, that play was crazy.
But oh yeah, they've got hands on. Was it Fekitoa ultimately?
Fekitoa pitched.
Okay,
yeah.
Whoever it was that ended up, they have hands on him. Like get him down.
Yeah. So I hate that we've become this. Hey, replay. Everything's got to be 100% right all the time. Look, that's just part of those great plays. That's kind of part of it of history at high school sports. Like I still like that element of it's people. It's not all just technology and replay. There's going to be some things that get wrong. There's no question about it. But there's other chances within a game. That's why football is not one play. There's other chances within a game to go out and make things right.
There are things you say I disagree with. There are things you say I agree with. The thing that you said that I love is the thing we love about high school sports is there's not replay.
Yeah.
I hate replay. I've never liked it. I will never like it. I have. It's okay that an official misses a call. I've talked to an official who meets with players before a game, and I've heard him say this. He has told players before, if you don't make a mistake, I won't make a mistake. Meaning, we are all human.
Yeah.
And they cannot see everything, and they do their best, and they are very well trained. They know where they should be looking. They know what they're looking for. But they're going to make mistakes. Just like players are going to make mistakes, just like coaches are going to make mistakes, no game is perfectly officiated. And that's not their fault. And that doesn't mean we got to go with pitchforks and, protest it. Like, no. It's okay. It's a game. And here's the other lesson. Life is not fair. It's not.
And
so
the final lesson, that play was awesome. Let it stand.
The play was awesome.
Was cool.
And at the end of the day, that's a heck of a game, back and forth. I think both teams showed they are who we thought they were, right? Yeah. We thought Bountiful was going to be really good. And tip of the cap to Emerson Gileman.
Holy
we talked about it on our show. We thought he'd have to have a big night, and he did. And, I mean, a guy who does not get talked about a lot at his position, and probably because he's not super flashy at his position, but man, he is consistent and he doesn't make mistakes. He's like a Brock Purdy. I don't know if people will like that or not, but he's not going to be the Patrick Mahomes. I've got this underhand throw. Like, that's not who he is. But you know what he's going to do? He's going to go out and he's going to move the football and he's going to win games and he's going to play within his offense and it's going to lead the team to have a ton of success. Gallman, watching that, Gallman makes great decisions. Athletic when they need him to be. Good reads. Like, I have really liked watching him play the last couple of years.
That run to the go-ahead touchdown there in the fourth quarter, 26-yard touchdown run, his read, that was a true read option. He could have handed it off. The way that he read that play, hit the seam, and got upfield, that was as good as Emerson Guilman has been.
He breaks 2 tackles on that run.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. Great game for Emerson Guilman.
Great game.
Before we get into the, what does this mean and what does this look like going forward for both Roy and for Bountiful, Robert Young, if you didn't know who he was, boy, I hope you know now, because he scored on special teams. He threw a pass. I think he caught 2. Did he catch 2 or run for 2? I don't know. He caught 2 or ran for 2, and then he caught 1 and ran for 1. He scored on all of Roy's touchdowns. He was involved. He scored in every facet of the game. That guy is unreal good. He is worth the price of admission. I can't remember, Dane, was it 1 or 2 years ago that we all created our little soapboxes at Rice-Eccles Stadium and said, please, Micah Beckstead.
Yeah.
Offer Micah Beckstead. Get him playing college football. We want to see more Micah Beckstead. Robert Young.
You're there?
Holy cow. He's so special. Every time he touches the ball, he can go to the house.
So let me ask you this, because you said you do a lot of work in recruiting.
Yeah.
Who do you compare him to? We love this comparison game. I don't want to do that to the kid.
Yeah.
Right? But like when you say, offer him, what do you feel like is his level? Like what kind of a back can he be? At what level can he play? Like, how do you see him translating?
That's the thing. I don't know, and I think that's what holds colleges back. But I want to go back in time. Aleva Hifo played at BYU for several years. He got a couple of years. I think he bounced around in the NFL practice squad. When he got to BYU, Bronco Mendenhall was the coach at BYU, and he said, I don't know what Aleva Hifo plays. He plays football. We'll figure out what to do with him. He's that good at football. We'll figure it out. He started at cornerback. He played some receiver. He ended up, playing a little bit of running back. They found a role for him eventually as a slot receiver, and he went on and had a fantastic career at BYU. But they had to try a few different positions to really figure out where he fit. But the coaching staff knew, this kid's really good at football. We'll find a way to use him. And that's kind of how I look at Robert Young. Look, he's a little bit undersized for the college game. There's no question about it. I don't know exactly what his 100 time is going to be. I don't know if he has the same kind of speed. But he's a football player. You figure it out. Britton Covey was that way too. There were a lot of schools that said, he's too small, doesn't work, not a traditional football player. And there was Utah who said, all of the things that he does well, if you've ever heard Britton talk about it, there were a lot of schools that told him he was too small, too this, talked about his limitations. But Utah, when they recruited him, they didn't even talk about those limitations. They talked about those things that he did well. And when the limitations were brought up of, well, what do you think about my size? They said, we don't care. We'll figure it. You do these things so well, we'll figure it out. I think that's what Robert Young is at. He does so many things so well. There's no denying that he's not the prototypical football player. But I talked to a Bountiful coach earlier this week, and he said that was the one player that I can remember in his coaching career that every time he got the ball, no matter what position he was playing, no matter what side of the field they were on, he was worried that Robert Young was going to take it to the house. That's what you thought of Britton Covey when he was playing at Timpview. He just, every play was a big home run threat. He doesn't have the same flashy highlights that Britton Covey did, but man, he's going to have one heck of a highlight reel. He's just a football player. Get him on your team and figure out what to do, especially if you're Weber State and he's playing down the road and you've seen him a few times, especially some of those lower level schools. I have no idea why they're not involved with Robert Young. There's an argument that some of the higher level schools in the state of Utah should also be involved. He's just a special football player.
Let's just share a few things. We talked about this on our 4 downs this week, but let's just talk some stats, right? He's played 9 games this year. When you look at those 9 games, how many games, Jeff, do you think he has more than 10 carries in of those 9?
5?
1.
Whew.
1. That was against Weber. He's got 52 carries, according to stats reported. 52 carries in 9 games. Now, here's the crazy thing. 9 games played. In 7 of those, he's averaging double-digit yards per carry.
Yeah. He's fantastic.
And he's had a touchdown run in every game except for 1. And let me give you his carry total. 2, 2, 17, 2, 7, 4, 9, 5, 4. And he's got 16 touchdowns on 52 carries. He is extremely talented. Now, for those of you who are like, run him more, there's a reason why Roy is doing what they're doing, and it is working. I am not advocating for them to give him the ball 20 touches a game. Not the point. The point is, he is so explosive that, man, he is such a dynamic playmaker, and it is surprising that there aren't more looks, because then you factor in on the receiving end, and
400 more yards, some odd.
550.
Holy cow.
And he's actually got 33 receptions with 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he is scoring 1 every 5 reception and 1 every 4 carries. 1 every 3 carries. He is scoring 1 every 3 carries and once every 5 receptions. That is nuts.
Yeah. Maybe the best, I guess, most recent.
And we haven't talked about special teams or defense.
No. And he's also thrown 2 touchdown passes just for fun. Parker Kingston played at Roy, plays at BYU now. I think he went viral. Was big long touchdown pass. It was, touchdown run on a punt return. He's also had some crazy trick plays, touchdown passes. Parker Kingston's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He was pretty vocal on Twitter. He went to Roy. He watched that game last night, and he said, "Look, what are we doing? He's the most special athlete, special football player in the state of Utah." And that's obviously subjective and up for debate.
Sure.
But Parker Kingston is maybe another comparison that you could make. He played quarterback at Roy. He also played receiver. He played some running back as well. But his senior year, he was playing quarterback. He's just a football player.
Yeah.
Get him on your roster. Figure out what to do with him once you're there. Your football coaches at the college level. Get really good football players, and you should be able to find a role for him.
Here's the other thing. Again, I said we didn't talk about special teams. He's got 3 kickoff returns of 95 yards or longer.
Yeah.
Robert Young. And by the way, that's the 3rd straight game where Roy's had a play of 99 yards.
Yeah, that's
They've had 2 99-yard pick sixes. Last night it's a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. This Roy, I know they lost, and Bountiful tipped the cap.
We're going to
getting
talk
the win.
about
We'll talk
There's
about
plenty of
but
to talk about.
Man. Woo.
Is there any? This is a question. You usually ask me the question.
I do,
got
yeah.
one for you. Is there any one player in the state of Utah who means more to their team than Robert Young does for Roy? You know, names that immediately jump to mind. Matt McKay, it's a pretty big deal for Alta. I don't think he's quite that Robert Young level of input. But is there anybody that comes to mind for you that is that important to their team? I
have one.
Okay.
You will probably disagree.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's a you problem. This is...
Because it's not. I'm probably right.
And I'm probably a little biased on this. I would dare say Iongi at Orem.
Okay.
I think he is a big deal to that Orem offense.
Okay.
Now, I was at that game last night. We will talk about that game as the night continues. He was a difference maker. When he was not successful, that offense did not have rhythm. When he was, it was like, look out.
Yeah.
Because the dynamics of that offense opened up, and they had a lot more success when they could get him going.
Yeah.
Now, so I don't know, but that would be the one kid who I'm like, maybe.
Mm-hmm. He's good, man. Robert Young was special. There's no question about it. He had a fantastic game against Bountiful. He got his. Bountiful did a great job of slowing everybody else down. Logan Sella was averaging nearly 100 yards, I think like 99 point something, nearly 100 yards on the ground. He had just, I can't remember, 64, 65 yards last night. Bountiful's defense, especially in the second half, really buckled down and slowed down everybody else that wasn't named Robert Young. First half, a lot of Roy touchdowns. Second half, Bountiful figured it out. That Bountiful defense played really, really well. I was impressed with their second half performance. The way that they adjusted at halftime, came out, and won at the line of scrimmage. That was a really impressive performance.
We are coming up against a break. We're going to go just a couple of minutes, and then we will take you to the top of the hour via commercial. You see Mountain Ridge, that one incomplete. They're trying to score late in the half. Let's get you a couple of other scores as we are approaching halftimes across the state. Crimson Cliff still leading Pineview 22-7. They're driving. How about Corner Canyon Bingham? This is a game we did not talk about a lot tonight. I was actually excited for this game. Corner was as well, and it's looking well for the Chargers. Last check, 21-7 in the second quarter.
Against a very good
Bingham defense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We Corner always, it feels like the last couple of years, Corner non-region, big games, you're talking about them, and then you sort of forget about them once region play starts.
Well, their region is not as competitive as it used to be.
Right. Corner's still Corner. Even with all of the injuries, they're still playing like Corner. It's impressive.
You got scores you got? I got a few if you don't.
Yeah. You
want me to go?
A few.
All right, I'm going to leave one for you because there's one that I think is really interesting, but it's kind of up your alley.
Okay.
Kanab Duchesne, 14-13. Kanab leading the Duchesne Eagles in the first half.
Okay. Kanab.
Yeah, I think that Duchesne team, they're undefeated in their region. This is a non-region game for them. Kanab's good. I think it's a good test for Duchesne. I probably would have given them the edge. It's first half. Still time to come back, but that one, competitive 1-point game.
I think I know the game you left for me.
I try.
It's surprising.
I don't know if it is.
It's a rivalry game up in Cache Valley, Ridgeline Mountain Crest. It's only 7-3. It's early in the second quarter. Last report I have is about 8.5 left in the second quarter. I'm a little surprised. Look, this Mountain Crest team is good. They're 6-2. They're a very good team. But nobody has slowed Ridgeline down in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's fair. When we were talking about, on our 4 downs this week, that was a game I highlighted. I actually thought that had a little bit of a
sneaky good game.
Yeah, what's the term? Kind of in between.
In between, I think.
I don't know how I can be more descriptive, Jeff.
I think that's what you call it.
You know how it's like you come off of a high and you got a big game coming up and you got kind of
trap game.
Yeah.
Letdown game.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just had the big win over Skyview last week. It's like, it's Ridgeline, they're the team, and Mountain Crest is sneaky good. That was one where I was like,
and it is at Mountain Crest.
It's at, and you never know.
You never know.
Never know in Hiram.
Is pretty crazy, or Hiram is pretty crazy out there. That McDonald's, I tell you, if Mountain Crest wins, there's that McDonald's just right outside of campus. It will be popping tonight.
I will share this. We left this game. We may be going back to it. Bingham Milford, 14 apiece. The Milford men, huh?
That.
Pride of Bryson Barnes and company.
Yeah.
Couple touchdowns. Sullivan had a 66-yard pick six. They had a touchdown run with 12 seconds left in the half to tie it up. 14-14 there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, we're top of the hour. Let's take a break. First hour in the books. We'll be back. You're listening to the Friday Night Red Zone on KSLSports.com.
I expect him to go to McCord right here. Try to get another first down before.
See how they get him involved here as the band and crowd for the Panthers making some noise here, but McCord Christiansen up the middle, and that is going to be into the end zone for a touchdown. Touchdown Mustangs, touchdown McCord Christiansen.
Crimson moves so fast. They got the ball with just over 2 minutes left, or just over 3 minutes, and scored with 48 seconds.
Riverton student section's having a good time tonight, as you can hear them having fun. Squib kick. And the tackle is made on the return. And that is how the first half ends. The Mountain Ridge Sentinels behind a strong run.
He gets out of bounds, don't need to waste that final timeout.
Exactly. He knew that getting out of bounds right then is a bit more important than taking the time to fight the defender and get more yards. Just get out of bounds, stop the clock, run another play.
Second down and short here for Canyon View. 28 seconds on the clock. They're liking using that sideline tonight. That's been a constant theme here in this first half. Remember, Richfield does get the football to start half number 2. Miller claps. Back to throw. Pocket holds nicely. Miller going to throw a fade, and that's incomplete.
And a flag on the play.
Is there? Oh, there is. Yeah. This will be interesting. I'm guessing this is pass interference against Richfield, but the body language is giving me some mixed results here. See what the official call is. And again, we talked about this last night, Joe, and let's see, there's going to be a defensive hold against Richfield.
And that gives an automatic first down to Canyon View.
So moves the sticks for them. And again, that's kind of where that catchable, uncatchable doesn't really matter in high school football. You impede the progress of a player, you're going to get a tossed flag for it.
And this is the moment that I really miss Rick Robinson, if that's from the spot of the foul or from the line of scrimmage.
Pump fake, Miller, end zone, overthrows his man, incomplete. So 2nd down and 10 coming up here with 18 seconds. You still have the one timeout. So if you're Canyon View, you can still use the middle of the field with that timeout.
They've got 3 downs to go. And they are now well within field goal range, I would say.
I'm starting to think downs aren't mattering as much here, just given the time. I mean, you got 18 seconds. You don't say that a lot where downs aren't an issue, but, well, we'll see here. 2 to either side.
Start of hour number 2. We got half times already. Man, it's flying on this week 9 Friday night.
It is. It's going fast. Going fast last week on us, too. It felt like 9 o'clock hit, all the games were over.
Yeah, we had like one game going at 9:15. Luckily, it carried us till the end.
That was wild.
Yeah, we might be, games might be wrapped up by 9 o'clock tonight.
A lot of rural games, so that makes sense.
A lot of rural games.
A lot of running game, rushing the football. Clocks go quick.
How about Milford coming back?
It's impressive. Because, look, Beaver's a team that they kind of deflate the game, right? They go up, the way they run the football, it's kind of a demoralizing game. But for Milford to come back, first half, make an exciting second half, it's impressive. I'm impressed. Are you surprised by this Richfield Canyon View game a little bit?
No.
Not at all.
No. Are you?
A little, yeah. If Canyon View
Canyon View has it here.
Punches it into the end zone and they go into the half at 21-14?
Yeah, if that's a one-possession game at halftime, I'm more surprised than now.
So this play is what will dictate surprise.
Well, they could have one more.
This next play is what will dictate surprise.
What do you think of the Baby Blues?
I don't love them.
No?
I'm not a big Baby Blue guy.
Can I tell you this? And this, I think Baby Blue on a dark blue is a great look. Like when North Carolina goes the light and the dark mixed, or Westlake has done that before, bringing it back to high schools. I love the look of a navy blue and a baby blue.
It's a great accent color. Like so many other colors that we've talked about. Orange, the neon greens. They're great accent
colors. Orange is tough.
But as soon as you try to highlight it, you lose me a little bit.
Are they kicking a field goal here? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little surprising.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm pass interference in the end zone.
Yeah, I'm going for this. I'm going for this.
I hope they make it. Because then we'll really question this.
22-yard field goal. This kick is good. So 21-10, Richfield leading. That clock's still running. Why not? That'll take us to the break. All right.
Who wants to have a kickoff anyways?
Let's talk about some other games from last night, shall we?
Okay. I'm ready.
Where do you want to go? Do you have a preference?
I will talk about anything, but if you're leaving the choice to me, I don't think there's a lot to talk about in this game, but our number one team did what number one teams do.
Do tell.
49-7 over Pleasant Grove. It was a dominating performance. Keneal Sweetwine, 4 touchdown passes. That's been the element of that Skyridge offense that's been missing, is Keneal Sweetwine, and the passing game. It's good, strong passing performance for him. If he can find some momentum through the air going into the playoffs, that's a different Skyridge team. Right now, we've talked about it the last few weeks. They've got to win with stout defense, that really strong running game, kind of that gross football that I talk about so much. But if Sweetwine can get going, he's got the talent to be great. If he can find some confidence, get going through the air a little bit, that's a really tough offense to defend.
Speaking of Sweetwine,
okay,
let me ask you a question. Someone asked me this question this week.
Okay.
Hila Makasuga went down with an injury.
Yep.
I think preseason, most people would have said he's the best quarterback in the state.
Yeah.
With him being gone, if you had to pick like the first team All-State quarterback, who do you go with?
So I'm picking first team All-State. I'm not a college. I'm not picking
That's
who
correct.
I want.
That's
I'm picking
correct.
Who's been
first team All-State quarterback. Where do you go?
I don't know how you don't go with Hillstead at Timpanogos. He's been fantastic all year long. We talk about the most important players to their team. Take away Hillstead from Timpanogos, and that's a totally different team. He's been great. So I'd look there. He gets a really, really long look from me.
Okay.
I think you got to look at Bessinger as well. Maybe Nate Dolly up at Ridgeline. I mean, so there's been some really strong quarterback play. Who do you go with?
I didn't have an answer. Like we talked through some candidates, right? And I was like, I mean, you could go there, but I don't know. Is that the right one? Or you could name that, but is that the right one? The one you didn't name, which the person suggested to me, and I think it's fair, Lapati at West.
He's been phenomenal.
Right? I mean, you talk about some of these other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We talked about Bessinger. We talked about Hillstead. We talked about Starkweather.
Yeah.
We talked about Sweetwine. We talked about New. Like there's a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, we did not talk about Keppa, but I mean, he got off to a bit of a rocky start. I think he's gotten stronger as the years gone on. I mean, I feel like that's a legitimate hard question because I don't feel like there's someone who has separated themselves at that position in the state.
No, and I guess it does. It depends on are you looking stats? Because Hillstead's been pretty crazy.
But
come back down to earth a little bit.
Well, and this is where I think some people would say, okay, but who's he done it against?
Yeah, I think.
And I don't say that to be critical of him. You can only play who you play, right? But
Lopati's that's interesting because I think he has to be into consideration. You tend to not think of sophomores generally as your first team All-State, but he's certainly played well enough to be in that conversation.
Tua Tagovailoa did not come up in my conversation as well as in this conversation.
I think
is he not quite there yet? Does he have a little room?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but I think he's a sub 60% passer on the year.
Okay.
He's a really good quarterback. His future, his potential is sky high. But they've won different ways. It hasn't been just Tua Tagovailoa lining up behind the center and lighting up the scoreboard. They've won different ways. So I don't know that I would peg him as my first team quarterback. First team leader, first team important.
Yeah,
all of those things.
Sure. Another name that came up was Carson Rasmussen at Timview. In this conversation I had this week, we talk about. Well, we did not talk about Timview.
No, we haven't yet.
Timview had a game.
Oh.
Timview had a game Thursday night,
and
for those who have been like, "Where's Timview?" and I don't know about Timview had a game. 49-0, 35-0, something over Maple Mountain.
35-0, and it probably could have been more. They had at least one touchdown that was taken off the board with a penalty. I think they had two. An underappreciated component. Chivas Gregory came back in that game. I think he's been hurt. He hasn't been going. Something's been up, but Gregory came back. He's a big running back. He is really tough to bring down. He scored last night. He was able to find some momentum. If that running game gets going and teams have to sit back a little bit, if you look at what some of those teams that have beaten Timpview or at least hung with Timpview early in the year, it was getting after Rasmussen and getting that offense out of sorts. If you make defenses hesitate just a little bit because they have to defend the run and give Rasmussen just a little bit more time with the Pula twins, Makasini, Tuaone, there's so many weapons on that Timpview offense. That's a really tough offense to defend. This was maybe the first time all year, Dane, that I looked at Timpview and said, Oh,
there
you
are.
are. Yeah, that's the team we thought we'd see all year long.
And here's the thing: in defense of Timpview, now that they need me to defend them, week 1 they beat Skyridge. Yeah, we're all like, okay, yep, that's Timpview. We thought they'd run away with 5A. Week 2 they lose to Lone Peak, then they lose to California, and remember they had 2 byes this week. They've only played 7 games through 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So you lose a couple games early, you have some off weeks, and then you get in a region where you've not had a lot of competitive games, and it becomes really easy to forget or think they're not that good because we don't see, and that I don't think that's the case. So now, that being said, Wednesday night's a big one. You know what's Wednesday night?
That's Orem.
It is Orem.
Timpview Orem. A lot of feelings, a lot of emotions in that game. That's always a big game. Ton of talent on the field. If you're the kind of guy who likes to watch future talent play in high school, that's the game to go to. There is college talent throughout both of those rosters.
Well, we'll talk about that one in a little bit. With Timpview, have they put themselves back with this win over Maple Mountain? Are they your favorite in 5A?
This win over Maple Mountain was super impressive, so that certainly helps their cause. And then Roy's loss to Bountiful kind of brings them back down to Bountiful. That's not like a far drop, right? But I think going into last week, you and I would have agreed that that Bountiful's not quite on the same tier as Timpview this year. I think we would have both agreed with that.
Yeah.
And I think that game, Bountiful-Roy, shows, okay, Roy and Bountiful are maybe a lot closer. Therefore, Timpview seems to be on a tier of their own, in my mind. That Maple Mountain team is good, and they made them look not very good. Timpview, seems like every year, Timpview, the only team that really can compete with Timpview or beat Timpview is Timpview. They have the talent every single year, and sometimes they get in their own way. But as long as they stay out of their own way, they've got as much talent as anybody in the state of Utah.
You know, Jeff, how long have you been with us here at Rewind?
3, 4? I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
How many times have you been to a Rice Eccles with us at Rewind? 3 years?
I think so, yeah.
Has there been a year where Dane has not busted out
No.
the Timpview jersey?
No, to the point that before I got to know you, which it doesn't take long to get to know that you're from Idaho. It's pretty apparent.
Yeah.
But there was a brief moment in time that I thought, oh, he must have went to Timpview. Just a very brief moment in time.
You know how I feel about the color orange. Do you really think I'd be at Timpview?
Well, I don't know. You break out that jersey and you look great.
Well, in fairness, it's hard to not look great in that jersey, number one.
It's true.
Number two, there's a lot of great players who made that jersey look great, and then I just take the credit for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You think that jersey comes out again this year?
I think it has to. I think.
So you would say that they would probably be a popular pick to make a run in 5A.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like you're setting me up for a punchline here, but I don't know where it's going.
Jeff, I'm not like that at all.
No, you are. And here it comes. Here comes the left hook.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
You think Timpview?
Yeah, well, so this is what I'll say. I think that I'm actually really excited for Wednesday night. So, let's come back to this.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have enough time to dive into this.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
We're going to come back to this point.
All right.
We're going to circle back to Region 7 because there's actually a lot to talk about in Region 7. But let's go to Region 6.
Okay.
West had a big win last night. I think there was a lot of excitement. It's West and East. Now, I will tell you the player that I feel absolutely terrible for is Damian Crosby. Because when I talk about the quarterbacks, and this conversation I had earlier this week, I did say if Damian Crosby did not get hurt, he could actually be at the top of that list for your All-State quarterback. With the way that this season started, running the football, throwing the football, the ability of that offense, if he did not get hurt, I actually think you can make the argument would have been having one of the best years as a quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He's hurt. East had other injuries. West runs all over him. West 5-0 now in Region 6. And the crazy thing is they've not won a game outside of that region.
That is crazy.
What is West?
West.
What are they, Jeff?
West is very, very good. That offense. I'm looking at box scores. So, by my quick math, and I work at a bank, so I'm not great at math.
Okay.
I'm seeing 318 passing yards and 328 rushing yards. I believe that's more than 600 yards of offense in that game.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of yards.
With a score that is a running clock for a good chunk of the second half. That's an offense that you mentioned Lopati, and you're right. I mean, like I say, I don't generally think of sophomores as, hey, first team All-State, but I probably should in the case of Camden Lopati. 318 yards on the through the air, 2 touchdowns, 18 of 25, so that's a nice, tidy 72% completion percentage. Added another 30 yards on the ground. He's been phenomenal, but it's Lote Sotele who had 203 rushing yards against East on 24 carries and 3 scores. I don't know how you stop that offense. That offense has been very good all year long.
There's a lot of weapons. I mean, I didn't see this game. I was out at another game last night. You know, I'm a big fan of Louis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Love that kid. Sotele's had a really nice year. Lopati has settled in. I mean, 68% completion percentage. That's phenomenal.
What's so impressive to me, I'm just looking at box scores, and let's take it at face value and assume they're right. Louis Hamilton's been fantastic. He had 1 catch for 8 yards. That's not anything dismissive of Louis Hamilton.
No.
He's phenomenal. But that's how many other weapons there are. And here's the real kicker to me. Hamilton has 1 catch for 8 yards. Jackson Twala has 1 catch for 23 yards. So those are 2 guys that are wide receiver 1 at just about any team in the state that combine for 2 catches and 31 yards. But it's Chachi Pan who goes for north of 100 in this game. Lava Vailahi has 60 yards in this game. They just have weapons.
They do have a lot of weapons.
West is good.
West is good. Brighton, Olympus, both sitting at 4-1 in that region. And for the Panthers, I mean, you know who they get this week? The Brighton Bengals.
Ooh.
Basically, you have region championships across the board. You've got a region championship in Region 1. You've got a region championship in Region 6. You've got a region championship in Region 8. All of these on Friday. Excuse me, Region 7. My bad. Wednesday's going to be a big night.
That is.
Big night.
You've got me looking. I forget about West. I shouldn't forget about West. Now you got me looking at their roster and remembering who plays for West. That offensive line is really good. Rob Lapuaho is going to Arizona State. Brian Tapu is going to Nebraska. Vaya Ikakula is going to Stanford, if I remember correct. I mean, so that's 3 Division I talent. Pila Tuafe, I think, has college offers as well. That's a really good offensive line.
I know this is not going to be popular, so I'll apologize now. You think back to that 2016 East team. I think it was 2016. Might have been 2015. All 5 guys D1.
Yeah.
Right?
Right there.
And West is not far off from that right now.
That's a really good West team. We don't talk enough about them.
Is this a year?
That's
this a year they can put it together?
I don't know. They got 2 more years of Camden Lopati. As long as they got Lopati on the backfield, they got a window for sure.
They take on Brighton this week. Brighton has only given up 89 points on the year through 9 weeks. Their defense has given up less than 10 a game. The only game they lost was to Olympus, a game in which they missed, I don't even know how many field goals. Who you got?
Well, I'm in.
Actually, let me rephrase that.
My West feeling.
What are you looking for in that game? Can Brighton slow down this West offense?
That's what I'm looking for, but I'm all in on West.
You're going to say no.
I just convinced myself in the last 10 minutes. I forget who's there. I forget how good they are. God, there's a lot of talent. They play out of state so much.
Yeah.
But that record really isn't indicative of who they are in the state of Utah. I don't think that Brighton has the Hogs on offense to keep up with what West is going to do. Remember that Olympus game? I think it was 40-38. Olympus has shut everybody down defensively.
Yeah.
They had to get into a shootout in order to compete with West. I don't I don't think Brighton has enough to slow down that offense, and I don't know that Brighton's offense has enough to keep up with that offense.
So then here's the question I would ask then. West does have, you're right, they played out of state a ton.
Yeah.
They did have an in-state game. They lost to American Fork, 41-15. It doesn't surprise me that they lost to AF. I don't think they've been able to get over the Cavemen. They've played that game a couple years in a row now. That's been a tough one for them to get over the hump on. It surprised me that was a 26-point game.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody's slowing down West. If you look at it, I mean, Camden Lopati in that game, that would have been his 4th start. I mean, that's a sophomore quarterback at his 4th start against AF. I believe that was on the road, right? That was at American.
Yes.
That's tough. So maybe not overly surprising. If I would have told you any other sophomore quarterback goes on the road to American Fork and stumbles a little bit, that wouldn't have been that surprising.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'm not.
Sure.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. No,
right?
I think I'm willing to chalk that up to a little bit of a young team. Maybe a surprising result for sure. But it was an AF team that was riding very confident. They played well, especially early in the year.
Because here'd be my question. Would a Brighton or a Timpview go to AF and have that result?
It's easy to say no today. But I think in week 4.
That's totally fair, actually, because I think AF early in the year,
yeah,
we had a very different opinion of AF early in the year.
and a different opinion of Timpview, even.
Sure.
So,
okay.
I don't think... Here's maybe the question. Does West go to AF tomorrow, and is it the same result?
That's a great question. I'd say no.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
And this is the danger of the whole transformative property thing, right? Where it's like, well, they beat them and they beat them, and thus it's like it doesn't quite work like that. I get it, and I get the games can snowball, and there's a whole bunch of factors that go into it. And for all we know, someone's girlfriend, they got in an argument. Who knows, right? But it is. There's a lot of things going on in teenagers' lives, and on any Friday night, you just never know. I do think this West team is scary. But when you look at the resume, I know people who they kind of scratch their head and they're like, I don't know what to think of them. And I can understand that. I think they're really good. I think this offense is really good. This offense has been good. Is this the year they can get to Rice Eccles, Jeff? Is this the year they can get to a state championship game?
I'm kind of going through it in my head. A lot of it's going to come down to brackets and who they play. Because if they run into, a Bountiful in the quarterfinals or something like that, it's going to be tough. I mean, that will be tough for anybody.
You know their seeding right now?
I don't have it pulled up. What are they?
They are 10 in the RPI on this Friday night.
Yeah, so that's tough because they could easily draw Timpview early or Orem early.
So the way that would work, if my memory recalls, they would end up being matched up with the 7, which at this point in time is Maple Mountain. And then that would be matched up with 2, which at this point in time is Bountiful.
So they'd have a tough path.
But I think that's a navigatable path.
I think so. I think that's fair.
I'm not saying they win those games.
Right.
But they don't have to face a Timpview.
Yeah.
Timpview right now is at 5.
That probably changes next week, right? After playing Orem.
Does Timpview win?
But even just looking at strength of opponents' records and all, does that change after Timpview plays an 8-1 team?
So right now, Orem has a 0.02 of a point lead over Timpview. If Orem wins, the winning percentage will not be enough to overcome Orem for Timpview. If they want to change their seed, they've got to win this game, and they're 0.03 behind number 3. I don't think Timpview's getting out of a 4-5.
Does West jump Northridge next week? Because that's close.
That is close. They could. They could end up in the 9.
If they end up in the 9,
which would end up in the 8, which would end up in the 1.
Yeah.
But even then, the 8 right now is Viewmont.
Yeah.
And the 1 is Roy.
Navigatable.
It's
path
a navigatable
for sure.
path.
Yep, no question about it. But they'd have to bring their A game. I don't think they could just. Remember Timpview last year? Timpview didn't really get it going. It felt like in the playoffs until late.
Yeah.
I don't think that West would have that luxury. They would have to, if that's their path to get to Rice Eccles, they would have to play well, quickly.
You know what West has going for them right now that they haven't had in recent years? They had it last year, but they've got a tough region.
Yes.
You think about when they were in Region 2, they beat up on a lot of teams, and then they go in the playoffs and they have a tough game, and it's like we haven't had to be in a competitive game for 6 weeks. They're playing really good teams right now.
Yeah.
I think they'll be better prepared, better tested. We'll see how that ends up.
And Lopati at quarterback. I know they had Isaiah Shueshui last year, and he was great. But Lopati has been at a different level. He's going to be a very high level.
And Lopati got minutes last year.
Yeah, he did.
First year full-time starter.
Right.
He got time last year. He's got some experience. This is a great time for us to let you know, not this Saturday, not tomorrow, next Saturday, October, what is that, 17th, 18th?
Who knows?
19th. We'll get there. Next Saturday, you know where you want to be at 10 a.m.?
Where?
Right here. We're going to have a bracket release show live on KSLSports.com.
I like it.
It's going to be awesome. So next Saturday, we're just talking about this, right? Potential matchups. Things can change. There's games tonight. There's games next week. There's still things to sort out. But you want to be right here on KSLSports.com as we talk through the brackets as they are released. Give you all the matchups, things to watch out for. Going to be a fun Saturday morning.
I'm just watching this kickoff return for Milford. Holy cow. It ends up at about the 50-yard line, but he's breaking tackles. You'll see it here on the stream. Breaks tackles, bounces off guys, keeps his balance.
Look at that.
Oh, that was an impressive run. And then he is fired up at the end of this run.
He should be. Oh, my goodness, man.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
1A football. It's awesome. Hey, we bottom of the hour. We're going to step aside, take a break. We'll be right back here on the KSL Sports Red Zone.
About 2 on first down.
Yeah, the Beavers brought some pressure off the edge, and Gage Radden just about got to Neto in the backfield, but a good cut by Neto.
And actually, and Walker did a nice job. Griffin Walker did a good job of picking up that blitz, just stopping it long enough.
Yep.
Second down and 8, 2:34 left in the third. So he'll go to the sideline and get the play from Coach Wes Marshall, one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
He was okay.
Yeah.
Also wore number 5, right?
What do they say now? Is
9?
he was mid?
9.
They call him mid now? Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
He was mid?
Yeah. There's a quick pass over the middle to Colton Barnes, and that's going to be good for another first down by Riverstone Contracting, and Barnes down holding his leg. And it looks like cramps, which, frankly, if a player goes down, I like to see the
reach
toe.
For the toe, stretch me out, hurry up.
Yeah, because even though we never really want to see an injury, this is one that we know they'll come back from.
Yes.
So that puts into Beaver territory at the 40, and that hurts so bad when that calf cramps up. So painful. Oftentimes it continues through the game, so we'll see if, and there it is. You can see he's going to have to come off and work on that calf. Get stretched out.
Get a shot of pickle juice.
Pickle juice, and here he goes. So first down and 10, ball on the Beaver 40-yard line. So see, again under center, a little different look. And this is going to be a handoff around the side to Walker this time, and a nice gain of 2 or 3 on first down.
Yeah.
I think it keeps the Beaver defense honest.
Well, and that's the thing. The Tigers, they're not getting a lot of great, big, giant down-the-field runs, but they are running the football semi-effectively to keep the Beavers honest and not let them just set back in coverage.
Second down and 7. So sometimes people say, why would you run, plays that are getting 2 and 3 yards? Well, it keeps the defense honest.
Yes. Yeah, and typically you see Colton Barnes carry that football on that play.
Second down and 7. Sosi hands off to Neto, trying to get the edge.
Ooh.
And he loses his footing. He looks like he was having a little bit of, but he's going to lose 1 on the play.
Yeah, great job by the Beaver defense stretching that out to the sideline, not letting Neto get any room.
Oh, just lost his footing is all.
Gage Radden was the outside contained guy on that side, and he did a good job. And big number 79 from the defensive line, Jex Puffer, coming down and making the tackle for the Beavers.
So third down and 8, 1:08 left in the third on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. Neto and the Tigers, Neto in the shotgun this time. So step back, he's got Neto in the backfield with him. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Take a snap, back to pass, looking over to the right side. Flush from containment, has first down yardage and more as he breaks in. And Neto, if he would have been able to keep his feet, had more space.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Sosi.
is Game Night Live Red Zone on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back in here to the studio. KSL Sports, Dane Stewart, Jeff Hansen. We got some good games going on. Mountain Ridge continuing to look strong, taking on Riverton 17-3. You see Milford trailing Beaver 20-14. The Milford men driving here, Jeff.
I think they heard us.
Yeah, they did.
I think they heard us talking. Like, hey, is there any way that it's not? Milford has something to say about is it anyway?
You know, one of the things I love about what we do.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people knew who. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people who knew who Bryson Barnes was. I think there was one place that drove down to Milford to talk to Bryson.
Yeah.
And that was so cool. That was so cool going down to Milford and walking into that gym and like walking in that football stadium. I mean, look, you're not going to impress a lot of, 6A, 5A stadium capacity crowds with it, but it was so cool because you can just tell, like, man, that means something.
Yeah.
You walk in, it's home of the Milford Tigers on the city sign, and It was just super, super cool. Love that town. I love the people down there. It's awesome to see them fight back and really battle a really good Beaver team. New game we got for you here, Snow Canyon and Dixie, 14 apiece in the third quarter. Tough year for Dixie. Good to see them battling here.
I want to take a moment to just pat ourselves on the back. Because you're right, nobody else is driving out.
Nobody goes to Milford.
There's a lot of networks out there, a lot of people out there that cover high school football. There's nobody that covers everybody like we do. And there's nobody that covers every sport like we do. We got a good thing going at Rewind, and that's what enables you to go back and say, remember Bryson Barnes at Milford? Because you're the only one who could say that. I wasn't here, or otherwise I would hop on that bandwagon with you. Nobody else can say that. Nobody else remembers Bryson Barnes at Milford except for the guys who were there, folks from Milford, maybe Bryson Barnes' family, and Rewind. That's it. Nobody else.
By the way, I'll share this. He's had brothers play at Milford. He's got one now, Sadler Barnes.
Right
it is a. I don't know if we're at pedigree yet, but man, that's been a constant name in that program for a while. And Sosi and company, this has been a really talented roster for a while. You see, they're inside the red zone. They got this at the 14-yard line. This is a Beaver defense. Does not give up a lot of points. Milford, really scrapping with the Beavers tonight.
Yeah, Milford, man. Braden Day, Odeon Menswear, former sponsor, a little free shout out. Hey, Braden, come back. Come back to us.
Come back.
He's a Milford man.
Is he really?
He is a Milford man.
Well, come on. We talk about the hometown.
There's a reason that I'm going on this whole diatribe. It's all about just creating the soundbite to send to Braden to be like, hey, guy, come back. We need you.
You want us to talk about Milford more? How about the crowd by Beaver, too? I didn't realize how close these communities were.
Yeah.
It's like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Which is very close when you start talking 1A football.
Yeah.
That's next door.
It is.
Yeah.
That's probably too off topic. All right, so we're going to keep this Milford drive going, but while we're there, let's circle back to what we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
Region 7.
Okay.
There's a big game last night in Region 7. I was out at it, and my apologies to everyone who had to listen to it. For those who did not, you'll get that pleasure now. Let's check out the Orem-Springville game from Thursday night. This was a classic, kind of the prototypical Orem game for this season. And we learned a thing or two, not only about Orem, but about Springville too. But let's go to the highlight from Thursday night's game, Springville at Orem.
For this Springville D is a 3rd and short. Kaava looking deep, has Akana, that caught inside the 20, 10, and out of bounds inside the 5. Boy, what a throw and for Orem.
Yeah, he's impressive. And again, here we go. They just run power.
Yep.
Touchdown, Orem.
And again, it goes back to that offensive line, how good they've been in the run block. This defense is tough. 2nd down, little play action. And boy, that ball has a lot of heat on it. Right on the money to the 1-yard line. What a throw from Levitt. Levitt able to hook up with Peter. They clock down to 5 here. They got to hurry. They'll run it. And into the end zone, Zach Olson with the sprint.
Really tough to stop on offense. It's got an athlete like that running the ball.
2nd down. Pressure coming in, and Akava going to go down. That's what Springville needs. They need some defensive success, and it's not looking to bring pressure again. This defense has been aggressive, and Springville going to run it. Good, solid run, and still on his feet. Boy, what a run. How about that carry by Zach Olson? He is at this opening quarter. Play clock down to 5. They'll toss this. Good patience. Olson still on his feet, and he's got room. Touchdown Springville as Zach Olson. Talk about the patience and the vision there, Coach.
Playing off.
They're going to bring pressure here around the edge. Levitt gets it away. Has a man. That's caught. Pickering for a first down and more as he'll take this out of bounds, but that will move to try to get back on.
I would run it. Play action.
They'll throw outside wide open. First down and more as a heck of a move put on here by Seattle.
Right by his pass coverage assignment.
Levitt.
He's got
running
it.
Out of time. Has Pickering wide open. Touchdown Springville.
The outside.
Thrown, caught. Another conversion for the Red Devils as Peterson with the grab.
I like slants over
Second
here.
and short. Levitt looking to the end zone. What a grab. Touchdown Springville. Peterson going up and hauling it in for the Red Devils.
You know,
which I think is really important. I thought at the end of the half it didn't look very good. So that's great, right? Come out, clear it. This ball's on the turf and Orem has it. Hey, that's what you need, right?
That's exactly what Orem needed.
And they aren't bringing pressure. They're playing.
Yeah, they've done a pretty good job of getting
over the middle. That's Wesley. First down and more. And I think the first reception we've seen tonight from Kai, it's a big one. Right on the edge of the red zone at the 20. Kaava, little in and out route. Iangi inside the 10. It'll be first and goal, Orem. Just like that, boom, boom. And you're much closer to the end zone. Motion here from Iangi. They will keep it with Kaava, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Orem.
What a great start for Orem offensively. Oh, you should get downhill.
They will.
Power again.
And he's got it. And more. Olson able to pick up, 13 yards on a for Springville. Jonathan Zaftra, this kick up. And was that wide? No, just in. That's good.
Really impressive drive by Springville.
His rhythm again. Akana there in motion. Kaava. Working outside. Has Akana. That caught across the 50 and more. Akana to the middle. Breaks through a couple of Springville defenders. And just like that, Orem has it down to the 24-yard line.
Kawa did a little heavier box this time.
Looking. End zone. Akana. And ripped out at the last moment. What a defensive play put on by Zach Henderson.
Been giving him. I like that.
Play action.
Looking for his back out. He wasn't there.
Looking deep over the middle, and that is intercepted.
Great job by Orem defense.
On the ground, room, and it's an Orem touchdown.
Great call.
I think it's Zach Graver. Save me on that one, Coach. This kickoff going to be shy of the end zone. Return available.
Oh, boy.
Split it. And big return up the sideline. Did he stay in bounds? Yes. Down the sideline, it's Jack Pickering.
What a
95 yards for the Springville answer. Welcome back out of the timeout. Third down. Boy, everyone deep trying to take a shot, and Dede with the interception.
Nice job defensively by Springville. They just dropped. They weren't going to.
Well,
I like getting the first down. A lot less stressful. There you go. Good
and
ball.
Akana will get it. I said that before.
I love that call, right? Looks like you're getting cover 2 man.
Kaava. Has Iangi on the slant. Iangi inside the 20, looking for 6 inside the 10. Touchdown, Orem!
That's a man's play right there. Iangi just made us run clock, or if they're going to try and get the first down.
They will throw. Levitt trying to get out of the pocket. That ball's on the turf, and I think Orem's on it.
There's nobody on Akana.
Kava
They
over
got
the
him.
middle, has a man. Did he make that catch? Touchdown, Orem! What a grab!
They could run this ball.
Outside linebacker coming on pressure. Levitt goes down.
Yeah, again, we've seen it all in this body.
3rd and 15 for Springville. Pressure again. Levitt goes down again. This Orem Tiger defense. Another comeback for the Tigers. Jeff, I mean, this is I think the 4th time they've had a double-digit deficit in the second half, and they come back to get a win. I don't. This is not something that you see regularly in high school.
No, not like this. And Orem has done it all year long, and it's bitten them in the backside at least once, right, against Skyview.
Well, they actually had a double-digit lead in that one, not a deficit,
well, that's
right?
True. Yeah, and then they let that slip away.
They did. Yep.
Just a team of two halves all year long. When you're as good as Orem is, you receive a different level of critique. And I just haven't seen Orem play 4 quarters yet. When they do, because in those 2-quarter spurts, whether it's the first half against Skyview or the second half, when they do it, they look like they are as good as Timpview. They look like they're as good as anybody in 5A. I just haven't seen them do it for 4 quarters, and I think the further along we get into the season and the further along we get into the postseason, I don't know that they're going to be able to win games without playing 4 quarters.
It was interesting to be there and watch that. First of all, Springville. Super impressed with that team.
Yeah.
We talk about guys that we don't talk about enough. I think it's Easton Levitt. Let's talk about the Springville quarterback. Because going into that game, I'm doing my prep through 8 games. I think it was 21 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season.
That's impressive.
That's pretty impressive. And then you watch, like I'm watching that game, I'm like, 21 passing touchdowns for Springville. That feels like a lot.
That feels crazy.
And then you're watching that game, and this throw early on was like, oh boy. Because that thing
It was on a dime.
was beautifully placed, and it had some heat on it.
Yeah.
That was a heck of a throw. And he continued to make big throws. There were some turnovers in that game, fumble, interception. But, man, he made big throws. And Springville threw it in really critical situations, which was great for them until it wasn't.
Yeah.
But, man, they've got confidence in that young man at quarterback. And he could really help deliver Springville back to a Rice Eccles and on a playoff run this year.
Well, the last time they had a quarterback who threw the ball was Ryder Burton, and that's exactly where they ended up. The last couple of years, it's been the Valetti show. They've had to run the ball. They haven't been able to do much through the air. If you can do it against Orem, like I say, Orem has as much talent as anybody. If you can do it against Orem, even in a loss, that should be a confidence boost for that Springville offense that, hey, we have the juice to go make a run. You got to go do it.
Yeah.
But they have the juice to go make a run.
Pickering and Peterson both super impressive on the outside. You talk about Valetti, they still got Lisi.
Yeah.
And Zach Olson was an absolute beast running the football last night. There's some things, obviously, they'd love to have back, right? The turnovers in the second half. Orem trailed that game 28-10 at the break. Orem did not allow a touchdown in the second half. The defense allowed 1 field goal, and then you saw the kickoff return. Those were the only points that Springville had in that second half. And then that offense for Orem, it still just wasn't clicking until that Iongi reception. And that's why when we were talking earlier about, is there a player you would pick to the tune of Robert Young? And that's why I said Iongi, because all night that offense, as good as it is, with Kaava and Wesley and Akana and that O-line. I had Dave Harrison with me last night, longtime OC in the state. He raved about that O-line. They could not consistently move the ball.
Yep.
And then the moment they get Iongi going, they had a screen. They had this little slant route. And look, you get them the ball, and you're not catching them. You're not catching them. There's 3 guys that you think they're going to get a stop. They don't. Valetti Iongi is that kind of a kid. And when you can get him the ball in space, he's got the speed and the shiftiness to create real problems. And when that gets going, everything else opens up for this Orem team.
Yeah. Utah State has started to take notice of Valetti Iongi, finally. Because, yeah, he's been special. He's been special for several years now. I think this is his 3rd year as a starter in that offense. He's been fantastic. And I think you're right. It's funny with all of the talent, with Kava and Akana. I mean, those are college guys. That offensive line is fantastic. Really, the two pieces of the engine that make that go is Mickelson and Iangi.
Yeah.
Those two have to get going. Otherwise, Orem is out of sorts.
You see Beaver with a nice run there. They had a 4th down conversion just a minute ago, trailing Milford 21-20. No more. How about this 45-yard touchdown run on what was a 3rd and 6 right up the middle?
Big run.
That's going to make defensive coordinators uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Big run. Nobody within yards of him, and he pulled away.
How about this? Here's a little update for you. Maybe a little upset alert. Beep, 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 beep. Bingham's come back.
Ooh.
Bingham corner tied at 21 last check.
Okay. You know, we talked about it, that Bingham defense is good.
It is really good.
That Bingham defense is really
good.
It was only a matter of time. The corners just lost so much on offense. Eventually, when you run into those really good defenses that have a stout defensive line, like Viliami Moala's in the middle of that Bingham defensive line, Charger Doty's in the secondary, there's just so many playmakers at all levels of that Bingham defense. That's a tough defense to get going when you have that many weapons.
And here's a crazy thing. This is kind of nuts when you think about this, okay? This game is late in the 3rd quarter, by the way, that corner Bingham game. If Bingham wins, they are your Region 2 champs.
Whoa. Really? That can't be right. That's right.
They haven't lost a game in Region yet.
Okay, well.
Now, you could have a co-region championship, but they would... I guess theoretically they could lose next week. They're playing Mountain Ridge.
Yeah.
That could happen. But
they would be in position.
But if they win tonight, they would be guaranteed at least a share because that'd be their only region loss.
That's pretty crazy.
Think about how the year started for Bingham. We're like, this is not Bingham anymore.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
They could win region tonight. Nuts.
That is nuts. You know, one thing I do like, just looking at this box score, we don't have this game. Zion Finau. It's so fun to see the Fridge Perry back in action. Big man has another touchdown run tonight.
Does he really?
He's been
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
I think he's got 5 or 6 now on the year. He's fantastic.
Look, and tip of the cap. This is probably not. I probably shouldn't go public with this, but here we go.
Okay.
This Corner Canyon offense, I tell people it's kind of like a video game offense.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as an insult. I just mean like when I play video games, what do? I find the 10 plays I love, and I just run them all the time. There's no versatility because for me it's like, yeah, these plays work against any defense, and I can move the football. And to me, that's what Corner Canyon feels like offensively, right? It's almost like they're that hard to stop. It is hard to slow them down, right? The job they've had to do this year of I've got a third string quarterback and a third string, like it is something else that they have this team at 7-1, top ranked again, despite all the injuries they've had and the depth they've had to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's maybe the most impressive Eric Kerr performance to me because he, at least of late, during this Eric Kerr run at corner, because it's been the corner team that hasn't just had more talent than everybody else. I don't want to dismiss what Coach Kerr has done. He's a phenomenal coach. Those teams, even with all of that talent, they're very, very well coached.
Sometimes it's Globo Gym, though, right? We're better than you, and we know it. I mean, we got 10 guys that are going to go play D1. You got one.
Right. At some point, that's what it is. It's corner. I think they did just score another touchdown.
They did. Yep. So quarterback in front, 27-21. Milford back on the field here, trailing by 7. So let me go back to 5A. It's the matchup we can't get away from because we'll hit it for the third time tonight. Orem Timpview. What do you think with this game coming up?
Man,
what do you expect?
Well, the Timpview team, I expect it to be a rivalry. The rivalry that it always is. I expect it to be very physical. Probably going to be a lot of flags. I mean, there's some things that you could just expect when it's those two teams. because that's just how intense that rivalry is. What do I expect in terms of the scoreboard? The Timpview team that I saw, that showed up against Maple Mountain, I don't know how anybody beats that Timpview team. They had it going on both sides of the ball, all phases. They controlled that game. Orem has the talent to compete, but both of these teams are really kind of similar in that they have all of the talent, and sometimes they just get in their own way. If both teams play clean football, I think Timpview is the better team. But Timpview can get in their own way. Orem can get in their own way. We've seen it. I haven't seen Orem play 4 quarters. I think Timpview is the better football team right now.
So if you had to make a pick, you'd go Timpview.
I would go Timpview. Yeah. They just have so many weapons. That defense has so many college players on it. Makasini, we don't really talk about a ton. Lisa, he's phenomenal. Tuaone in the secondary has a bunch of interceptions on the year. He's involved in every play. That team defensively, I think, can contain Orem. Yongi's kind of that X factor there that, if he gets going, then Orem is a different offense. But Timpview has that linebacker speed and the physicality up front to make things tough for Yongi. I think I go Timpview.
I think I would too. And my biggest thing is we talk about Orem, and you made a comment earlier, you haven't seen him put together a full game yet, a full 4 quarters. If Orem did that, they'd be my pick to win a 5A state championship. Because when Orem's at their best, I don't know who can stop them. But there are those series where penalties, turnovers, it just doesn't mesh. Because again, you look at that second half against Springville, it's a completely different team.
Totally different team.
And it's just like, so when they play like that, I think they're the best team in 5A. But can they do that for 48 minutes? Against another premier program like a Timpview or a West? I don't know. Now, they can prove me wrong on Wednesday, but I haven't seen it yet.
That Timpview team just has so much talent. I think where Orem is going to lack is the defensive talent that have to cover all of those playmakers. I think offensively, Orem has guys that if everybody's going well, then they can hang with the defense. It's going to be a pretty even match. It's a 12-round boxing fight. I don't know that Orem has the guys in the secondary to keep up with the Pulas. I don't know, especially with Gregory back and running the ball really well. He's very good, and he is really tough to bring down. I don't know that Orem has the linebackers to consistently bring down Gregory when they also have to defend 3 very, very good wide receivers. I think that's just a really tough matchup for Orem this year. This Timpview team has so much talent that because we haven't got to see them a ton, up close, watch the games live, I think we forget how talented that Timpview team is. They are very, very good. I mean, they beat Skyridge, right? This is a very good team.
So, last question, then we'll get ready to go to a break here. If you had to rank the team most likely to win a state championship, and give me your top 3. Give me your top 4.
Any state championship?
In 5A.
In 5A.
Thinking of 5A teams, give me your top most likely in your mind to win a state championship. 1, 2, 3, 4. In that order.
Okay. Number 1 is Timpview.
Okay.
I think they're the clear favorite going into postseason play. Then it gets tough.
That's why I'm asking the question.
Because at the end of the day, I love what Roy and Bountiful have done, but I don't know that they have the talent that that Orem has. We talked about West. West has a ton of talent. There's a lot of teams really that are in the conversation there. I think what wins, right? You're getting into my head here a little bit. So what wins what does it take to win in the postseason? It takes a couple of guys that you can go to whenever you need a play. You've got to have that playmaker that you can count on all the time. And then you've got to have really good defense. You got to be able to play physical against anybody, no matter what the situation is. And so if I look at those other teams, that West offense is terrifying. They're very, very good. But I think I go Bountiful at number 2 because they've been tested. They've got Geilman and Fekitoa that they can go to. When they need a big play offensively, when they need to pick up a 3rd and 3, I think they've got the guys that I trust the most right now with Geilman and Fekitoa. And then they've got a really tough physical defense. They've been tested. They've done it last year. They made a run. A lot of those guys are back. That coaching staff is great. I think I go Bountiful 2. And then it's really just a shootout of which offense do you trust more for me. I don't know. Orem, I think you got to go Orem because they have the talent. But Roy and West, I don't think there's a wrong answer. But I would probably say Orem, Roy, West in that order.
Is there a sneaky team or a sleeper that you think it wouldn't surprise you but may not be on teams' radars to potentially get to a semi?
I look at Olympus a little bit, maybe. But I think I would be pretty surprised still.
Okay. So I would, not that you asked, I know you don't care, but I'm going to tell you anyway, Jeff.
Okay.
I would go Timview 1.
Yep.
I was also thinking Bountiful 2. I was kind of surprised you went that direction. For sake of being different, I'll go West 3. And I'll go Orem 4, but I agree, interchangeable. And Olympus was my sneak team, actually. I didn't know that you'd pull that one out. Just because I think their defense is that good. And their offense can score points. You see on the stream, Milford with a big play. They got this inside the 10. Meanwhile, Corner just picked up a fumble at midfield, leading Bingham 27-21. That game in the fourth quarter, we'll keep you updated there. That being said, we're up against it. We're going to head to a break. As we'll for those on the stream, we'll leave it right here. 1:17 to go. Milford with it inside the 10, looking to come back and tie it up against Milford against Beaver. You're listening to KSL Sports Red Zone.
These days, kids do a lot of their homework online. They talk to their teachers, they receive assignments, and they do research, all from our kitchen table. That's why I chose Centricom Fiber Internet. They have the fastest and most reliable connection, so my kids can stay on top of their schoolwork.
Live high school sports action on Centricom Channel 10 and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Enough, you know.
Welcome back on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live. It is 1st and goal for the Tigers at the 9-yard line. And minute 17 left in this one. So Tigers down a touchdown. Beavers call a timeout. Head coach Steve Hutchings talks to his defense. Sosi in the shotgun. A tight formation for the Tigers. Sosi will get a quick pitch out to Colton Barnes. He escapes, follows blockers back. Trying to find the edge, and a great play. There's going to be a hold on the play, and that'll move the Tigers back 10 yards. That could be costly.
Yeah, big penalty on the Tigers as Colton had nowhere to go to the left side and cut back, and it's always hard as a blocker to know what's going on.
Yeah, just too much. You can see he engaged the block too long. Not really much of a question. And that is huge as that moves it back to the, let's see, the 20, Dave?
Yep, just inside.
19-yard lane. So it's 1st and goal from the 19, a minute 9 left. And again, you know, the Tigers capable of big yards, big chunks, but they've got a minute 5 and counting in the game. Sosi in the shotgun, 3 receivers to the left. Sosi back to pass. Looking over the middle, now switches to the right, has a receiver, and a huge tackle, and that will be a penalty on the Beavers on a defenseless receiver. That will put it half the distance to the goal. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 5.
Great job by Walker holding on to that ball. That's his 3rd catch in a clutch situation.
So the defender has to wrap up. And the arms have to go around.
Yep.
You have to
is that
finish.
what the penalty is? Yep.
Yeah, the penalty will be a hit on a defensive receiver. And so what happens is you have to wrap the arms. And you can argue if Barnes, was it Barnes?
Walker.
So if he wraps up his arms, but because he bounced off so hard, he wasn't able to wrap those arms. And that's the difference. If you wrap the arms, finish the tackle, it's not a penalty. 1st and goal inside the 5. The clock is running stopped at 52 seconds. Now a timeout is called. We'll take it as well. Be back for the conclusion of this one. 28-21 Beaver, Milford inside the 5.
As a urologist, my job includes treating kidney stones, diagnosing, treating prostate cancer, and other disorders of the urinary system. Here at CVMC, specialists and primary care physicians all work very closely together.
As a family physician,
All the big games, all the big moments. This is Game Night Live Red Zone on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back in. Final hour here of week number 9. I actually thought that was Jeff laughing at me for my take earlier.
I mean, it was. I just, not quite that nasally with my laugh.
Okay. Well, hey, we got ourselves a finish. The Milford men trailed this game 14-0. They led it 21-20. They now trail 28-21. 52 seconds left, and had a big play, a penalty that came in. Officials, I think, trying to sort this out, but Milford will have an opportunity here to try to, I'm going to say, upset Beaver.
Absolutely.
They're the number 1 ranked team in 1A. And this has been a matchup that has not been favorable for Milford in recent years, despite Milford being much improved on the gridiron.
Yeah, there's not very many teams that have had favorable matchups with Beaver.
That's fair.
Of late. It's a powerhouse. It's
Meanwhile,
exciting.
We got a little card game going here. I'm not quite certain what the delay is for the officials, but we got time.
Reffing. The ref's got a ref, you know? Let the refs ref sometime.
That is their job.
Without replay, this is what you get. Little huddles.
What'd you see? Well, I thought I saw this.
Yeah, and then they talk about it. I think they draw pictures occasionally.
Should we go out to this game?
Let's do it.
Let's go out to this game. Milford with the ball inside the 5, trailing here by 7. Less than a minute to go.
Inside, it's going to be
Orange.
He's in. And he's not in. It's going to be short of the goal line. 45 seconds left. Clock continues to run. 40 seconds. And the Tigers quickly line up. And the Beavers stack that line. I see a quarterback sneak coming. And you can see Sosi lean forward and got the no signal yet. Clock continues to run at 24 seconds. And there's no signal. It will be 3rd and goal with 20 seconds left. And Milford will call a timeout. We'll keep it here. Now, let's see the replay because once again, Sosi with that lean.
All right, so with this timeout, we will come back here. Should we update on other scores? Yeah. There's not a ton of games tonight. It's why we're kind of talking about other things and trying to keep you updated. Corner Canyon had to settle for a field goal on that drive. So the Chargers leading Bingham 30-21, 4th quarter. Bingham with the ball here at home trailing.
Ridgeline has started to figure some things out offensively. End of the 3rd quarter, it's 21-3 Riverhawks. Still not a typical Ridgeline performance, but starting to find a groove. Graham Livingston, he's thrown a pass. That's why I'm confused. Threw a pass, also caught a pass. Touchdown pass. More than one pass, but he caught one touchdown pass.
Crimson Cliffs has also figured things out. Big lead, 43-21 over Pineview. 3rd and goal. Let's head back out to Milford.
Do the Tigers say, let's just smash it up on the 1?
Sosi's out the wide left.
So underneath, it's going to be Colton Barnes. He'll get in, and touchdown, Colton Barnes. Now this sets up decision time for Coach Thane Marshall.
They yelled it. They yelled 1. They're sending it out.
So we might have an overtime, and here's the all-important extra point for the Milford Tigers and all the pressure on Sadler Barnes. Sadler Barnes, the senior. The holder will be Colton Barnes. So a PAT can tie it up. 27 seconds left. And there's going to be a fake, and the Milford Tigers will go for 2. And he will try to maintain things, but he can't get it. He does fumble the ball, and the Tigers can't convert. The Beavers play that tight, and the fake PAT goes awry. Watch this again. Colton Barnes immediately takes off, but the Beavers, they did not bite that at all.
I think we got a flag. I think we got a flag down.
So we'll see what the call is. Now this could be huge if it's during the play.
Oh man, that is a...
I need your completely transparent, no guard, don't protect it. What did you think of that play call?
It's like V8.
I hated that play
I didn't like that. Look, here's my thing. I have no problem going for 2 in the win.
Not at all.
But just go for 2 in the win.
Yes.
Right? Okay, unpopular opinion. Here we go. I've gotten into arguments with coaches on this one, and I'm not a coach, okay? You know what formation I hate more than anything else?
I don't know.
The pistol formation. Can't do it. Never want to see it. Ever. You want to know why?
Running backs 10 yards off the
Correct. It's like you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. As we haven't, it's another look at it. But for me, it's like same thing. You're 3 yards away from the end zone, right? So why do you want to start with a player with his knee on the ground 7 yards behind that?
Yeah.
You're starting picking up the ball from the ground 10 yards away from the goal line. It's a bad idea. If you want to go for 2, go for 2. But do it from 3 yards, not 10.
Yeah. I'm with you. Let your offense do what offenses do.
Yeah.
I hated it. In that situation, I'm pro fake field goal. I like fake field goals. But I like fake field goals when it's the second quarter. I don't like it when it's 27 seconds.
And the other thing, too, is
left.
if you want to run a fake field goal, that's great. Don't make it dependent on one option, which is running the football.
Yeah, and that was tough. Did not like that play call. Liked the aggressiveness. I liked all that.
No problem with that. I would just much rather line up, get your offense on the field.
Your quarterback your offense, they just scored. Let them do it again. Yeah, don't love that. Credit to Beaver for that. They were not fooled even a little bit.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it's Beaver. Like, you're not going to catch them.
Yeah, not going to surprise Beaver.
No. And the thing is, like, they already have the lead. You know, like, I mean, I don't think they're going to be this super, I don't know. So, onside kick, I would guess, coming up here for the Milford men. We're going to leave it here. We do have one more game we're going to talk about from last night.
Yeah,
because we had a big one.
Yeah.
We had a big one. But let's see how this kick goes for the Milford men.
In a traditional setting, and now the Beavers will take a timeout as Coach John Marshall and the Beavers want to talk about it.
And with that timeout, we'll just come right back here, eh?
We haven't even been going in and out of games, and yet we still run into our timing where, hey, let's go watch a timeout.
So let's do this. We're going to talk about Lehigh Lone Peak. Don't you worry. We will talk about that one. Other action from last night, though. Not a ton of big games. Syracuse with a pretty decisive win over Layton last night. Spanish Fork with a big bounce back after losing to Provo. Jeff, any other games to stood out from you from Thursday night?
I like what we saw from Olympus playing Highland at Highland, but it was the Olympus offense that impressed me. They were able to score 41 points. I think that was big. Park City continues to be maybe the most slept-on team that we just haven't really talked about all season long. I mean, look, Tooele's not exactly a powerhouse, but Park City, they're 8-1. We've got to start talking about the Miners more. They won 49-10.
Here's the kick.
A pooch
side, and it's going to be picked up by Radden. He'll take a knee, and that'll do it. And the flag will come out.
All right. So Beaver once again will defeat Milford. Looks like 28-27 will be the final on that one. All right. Hey, here we go. That's a really poor drum roll because originally it was kind of like this excitement, and I don't know what just happened.
It was fun.
Let's talk Lehigh Lone Peak, shall we?
Let's do it.
Lehigh was the last undefeated team in 6A. They lose to Skyridge. Big game taking on Lone Peak. Lone Peak coming off their first in-state loss. Big game for RPI. Big game for Region. And let's rewatch, go back, check out the highlight from Thursday night. Lehigh and Lone Peak, a big game in 6A.
Sends a man in motion, and he drops back to pass. Fires it deep. He's got a man. That's Staley. And he catches it in the breadbasket. And he's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's Jet New. In the gun, drops back. And he's got a man deep. And it is caught. What a catch at the 45-yard line. You guys heard it here first. And it goes to number 4 on the jet sweep, but the ball's on the ground. We'll see who gets it. The Knights say they have it, and they do.
Oh. And if someone wants to drop off a crumble cookie, I wouldn't be mad.
2nd and 6. New. He's got his man.
Oh, Mays
Madsen. This time he did not fumble the ball. 1st and 15 at the 35-yard line. Jet News got his man. Oh, and it's tipped and intercepted. And who else? Landon Goff.
Landon Goff. Oh, my God.
Sends a man in motion. Drops back. Looking, firing down the field. He's got a man. That's number 10. Owen McNeil. And he gets to the 45-yard line.
Private jet. Let's go.
Chopper 5. Should we get Chopper 5 to pick you up?
Yes, that'd be great.
Keppa drops back. Got a man. Gets to the 25 to the 20. Oh! And that's Mayberry. And then he breaks a tackle. Moose's favorite part of the game, a field goal.
Amen.
And the kick is up. And it is good.
Oh, zoom, break it. Jet's shown some major flashes.
And now Jet throws. He's got a man. Who else besides Legend Glasgow? He gets to midfield, down to the 45, cuts to the outside, and then he gets down to about the 40. So now in Lone Peak territory, Jet New on 1st down. Who's he look for again besides Glasgow? And he's got it to the 30, out of the 20. No one's going to beat him. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Lehigh.
Oh, my God.
Legend Glasgow for 6. How long did it take you to recover?
I'll tell you after.
Here's Keppa. He's looking, going up the middle, and he's brought down. And that is number 11. Pioneers. Play action goes out to Legend Glasgow, and he's dicing his way through, and he gets past midfield. Excuse me, that is Mays Madsen.
Point of the catch.
And then they go up tempo. Devon Eka he's going to the 40. It's a foot race now to the 20, to the 10. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown, Lehigh. Devon Eka finds the end zone.
Good things happen.
1st and 10 at their own 29.
Lehigh's student section.
And play action. It's caught by Owen McNeil, and he gets down to about the 40, 40, which Moose doesn't like that. Drops back. Here's Keppa. Throws it deep. He's got a man, and it's caught by Owen McNeil. Touchdown!
Oh my goodness gracious!
What a grab by Owen McNeil.
Owen McNeil is...
Here's Keppa under center. It's in the I formation. A little trickeration goes from Isaac Staley to Keppa Niametolu for the 2-point conversion. And Gavin Fenn, 48-yard field goal. Oh, Mays Madsen, the hold wasn't great, and now he's down, and that'll end the half.
Called the hold, didn't get an opportunity.
Very favorable field position. He's in the shotgun. He'll hand off to Devon Eka. Slides into his left and then slides back out to his right, and he gets to past the 40 and down to about the doing that as we're 5:11 left here in the 3rd quarter. Kept on the quarterback draw. He gets to the 50, down to the 4. Oh, geez, that was a great run. I think he'll be marked. Now back in the gun is Keppa. Rolls to his right, stops, looks at his left, and he's got a man. Caught! Touchdown! That's Isaac. Jet New drops back. He looks deep for Glasgow. He's got it. What a catch! Oh my goodness!
Oh, wow.
More than having to grind out a drive like this. Here's Chet New. Breaks a tackle. He's going to run, then throws it. Finds Glasgow, has reach up and catch it, and he gets down to about the 41-yard line. They're going to mark him down. Chet New, empty backfield. He takes the snap and he throws a deep ball to Glasgow. One-handed catch! What a grab and a touchdown! Number 2 on the night for Glasgow. To get into field goal range. Jet New drops back. He's looking downfield, fires. He's got Glasker open. Caught down at the 15, and he's down. Now they're running to the line. First down is at the 3-yard line. Jet New throws to Eka, but he catches it. He's running. It's down to 5. Jet New drops back. This is for the game. Pushes out. Looks into the end zone. It's incomplete. It's incomplete. Lone Peak wins. Lone Peak wins.
A Thursday night to remember, Jeff. My goodness, we had some great ball games last night.
First thing I want to address. There was talk on social media that third down play there at the end, Devon Eka, it's a screenplay that doesn't go anywhere. And I saw people on social media like, well, why didn't Devon Eka just drop it? They had no timeouts left, running clock. He should have just dropped it. Instead he caught it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes nowhere.
Yep.
Clock keeps running, it's fourth down, it's chaos. Do you have any idea how hard it is to coach a player and say, hey, you got to go catch the ball every single time, except that one time in real time, at the absolute spur of a moment, you need to recognize that this is the one time in your life that you don't want to catch the ball. Nobody's coaching that. So, folks on social media, this isn't Madden where you could just hit X and spin away from the catch if it doesn't work. This is real life. Like Devon Eka did exactly what a football player should do: go make a play.
Why didn't he?
Didn't work out.
Okay, but here's a legit question: why didn't he just push the start button?
That's true.
To freeze it, and he could be like, "What do I want to do?
Yeah.
I should bat this one down." Okay, and then you could start it again. You don't need a timeout for that, Jeff.
He could have hit the start button and then just quit and started the game over. And he doesn't have to, totally different game at that point.
Because it was rigged anyway, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, it was just you can't.
In that case, you don't have timeouts. That clock is ticking, and I'll share this. So, allow me a little latitude, will you? Attitude. I have had people come call games with me, and they're like, "Yeah, this would be awesome because I do this at home all the time. This will be super fun, right?" And it is fun. I love calling games. They come out, and like a series in, they're like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?"
Yeah, it's tough.
And why? Because it is so much faster when you are in it. And that's true whether you're commentating, officiating, or playing. And to your point, you don't have timeouts. You've got like 10 to 15 seconds between plays, half of which you're hearing a play call, right? You're trying to get alignments and all that stuff. Like, you don't have time to be like, okay, now how much time is on the clock? We're down in distance. Okay, if this ball's tough to catch, I'm going to drop it. Like, that just isn't real.
It's not like even a basketball game where you're in a quick huddle, you have a whiteboard, you draw out your play, and then you could look at players and say, hey, this is what you're going to do in this
And
situation.
how often do they get it right?
Right. You don't even get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, this is, hey, you made a play. You called the play. The play call was a screen, and you want to catch the screen. The only time that Devon Eka would have even had to think about dropping that ball is while it was in the air, Dane, because up until that point, you think that play's going to work.
Correct.
So he would have had to take his eye off the ball, diagnose what was happening on the field, turn around in midair, mind you, and then decide to drop the ball.
That is one magic running back.
Exactly. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So no, but heck of a game.
First down is at the 3-yard line.
That he was able to have the wherewithal, because
you know what? Here's the other thing. Play that again. Hey, director, do this one more time.
Have this capability to just boss him around.
Pay attention to this, because watch where that ball. I just noticed this when we watched it this second time. Watch where that ball's going.
Do we get to critique him that we didn't want to watch this?
No. Yeah, that's fine. Glasker, okay, one of like his 280 yards. Watch who is here. Okay. There's actually a Lone Peak player there.
Yeah.
Like I didn't notice that, but
right there.
For all that, he could just be trying to not allow that to be picked off too. Anyway, there's a lot more going on there than just drop it.
Yeah, no, and I was actually really impressed with Jet New. That situation is so chaotic. Okay, now it's third down. It's a running clock. You instinctively And the way that the highlights work, you didn't get to see his thought process, but they instinctively lined up like, hey, we got to spike the ball, stop the clock. Nope, 4th down, can't do that. For Jet New and that Lehigh offense to even get a play off and have a chance, I actually thought was pretty impressive from a bunch of high school kids. That was really impressive. It didn't pan out, right? They threw it out of the end zone, and that was the game. But to have the ability to figure out the situation that quickly, I actually thought spoke really highly of that Lehigh coaching staff and the football IQ of that Lehigh offense.
Would not be surprised if those two teams are in a semifinal.
No.
Right?
Not at all. Not at all. Legend Glasgow.
He had a good game.
Yeah, he had a pretty darn good game, too.
I mean, when you have fans of I don't know, power, whatever number it is right now, 2, 3, 4, 5's up for debate.
I think you just say whatever, you make it up.
The Big 12. How's that?
There you go.
You have fans of the program your quarterback is committed to advocating for you to go there. That speaks to how big of a game he had. It was a big game.
You've got to be a special kind of player to go ahead and when that kindergarten teacher says write your name on the top of the paper, to go ahead and just start writing legend. You got to be pretty special, and he lived up to it in that game. Holy cow, he was impressive.
Is that the story?
I think so. I think he named himself Legend. I am Legend. There were no zombies, just kindergarten, but it stuck.
Jeff, I'm being serious.
I have no idea.
Okay, all right.
I have no idea. I should have let you go. The way you set me up, I should have let you go with that. Roll into like a playoff preview, and you start talking about Legend Glasker's kindergarten, and then been like, dude, I made it up. Should have done that.
But you know what? You have a lot more character than I do. You would never allow that to happen, Jeff, and that's why I love you.
I appreciate it.
You're awesome. So Lehigh drops to 1-9 against Lone Peak.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
With how good that program has been the last couple of years, have not been able to get over that hump of the Lone Peak Knights. And for Lone Peak, that defense continues to be really good.
I don't think Bott played.
And there was like a week or two ago where you said you didn't see him a lot either.
Yeah, we haven't confirmed, but we really should probably figure that out.
How about the night for Ike Staley? Couple receiving touchdowns, had the passing touchdown on the Philly special. I love how they're using him.
Yeah, I do too. They found a role for him that is impressive.
And I feel like, I know that was highlights. I didn't see the full game. I feel like Kepa is looking more comfortable. Am I crazy?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's been good. That Lone Peak team still has room to get better, and I think that's what makes them so scary going into the postseason. So they continue to find ways to win. They are learning a lot. They know how to win football games. We talked about this with Crimson Cliffs a couple of weeks ago. That last year, Crimson Cliffs, they cruised to a state championship game. I don't think they had to learn how to win. They just beat everybody. They just won, right? They've had to learn how to win this year. And Crimson Cliffs, they took their lumps early, but you see Crimson now, they've learned how to win, and they look really tough to beat. Lone Peak is, I think, doing the same thing with the one caveat, the one big difference. They don't have that ridge line that's just cruising to everybody in 6A right now. 6A is wide open as it has been in a long time, and Lone Peak has learned how to win. That, to me, is a really scary team going into the postseason.
Does Lone Peak have enough offense for a successful postseason run? Because when you think about 6A, I think it is stronger defensively than offensively as a classification.
Yes.
Does Lone Peak have enough offense to put together 2 or 3 wins on back-to-back weeks against really good defenses?
I'm going to say yes, and the reason I'm going to say yes is because I don't think anybody in 6A right now is going to hang 40 throughout the postseason. I just don't think that's there. I don't think Lone Peak needs to consistently put 35 points up for 3 weeks in the postseason. I think the defenses are that good that you're not going to see those types of scores you might have games like that one game or where somebody goes crazy, but I just think this is a defensive football year, and I think defense is what wins games in the postseason. I don't think you're going to have shootouts throughout the 6A at least like the quarterfinals on.
Which offense would give you the most fret if you were a DC in 6A?
Yeah, and that's what's tough. We talked about it earlier. Keneal Sweetwine throws 4 touchdown passes today. Now, he's playing Pleasant Grove, and it's been a down year for the Vikings. Keneal Sweetwine, I think if he can figure something out and gain confidence, he's got the talent. If he can be confident, then I think that Skyridge offense is pretty scary. I think conventional wisdom is Lehigh, but they've played Skyridge and they've played Lone Peak, and that offense has been a little bit out of sorts. I think I got to go Skyridge.
No corner?
You disagree.
No corner? Here's my thing. I know corner's beat up. They've put distance between the A and Bingham tonight. They've got 37 points in that game against the Miners. And I think we dismiss them very quickly because they don't have the headliners.
That's fair.
But the reality is they are still putting up 40 points on a regular basis with second and third string guys.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, they still have Kai Meza is still a Division I guy.
Krishawn Lee continues to be great. Running back by committee and to some extent, but guys that are finding success running the ball.
Yes, and Bronson Evans, he's been good.
Mm-hmm.
He's been really good. Coming into the night, he's completing 70% of his passes. Hilo Kasuga was at 65. I mean, so he's playing Kasuga levels. Tonight's tricky because Bingham's good. I know that defense is good. And so that makes me pause a little bit. Up until tonight, I would have said I just don't know if they've played a very good defense. And while I agree that the Bingham is a very good defense, I don't think they're Skyridge or Lone Peak. Or maybe even Lehigh.
Okay.
So we'll see.
So I asked the question.
It's a good question.
I don't have an answer.
Yeah, it's a good question.
You know what I do have?
What's that?
Commercial break.
Perfect.
Last one of the night as we hit the final 30 minutes. We'll be back. You're listening to the KSL Sports Red Zone.
the big moments in high school football. You're listening to Game Night Live Red Zone on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. Been a fun night, Jeff.
Has been fun. A little different.
Little different.
I liked it.
Yeah?
A little bit more high school football show. We got to come up with a name for that, but a little less of the red zone feel, but a little more of a, hey, let's just talk high school ball for 3 hours.
Well, and in fairness, for those who missed the red zone, or that more red zone type feel, a lot of games were played last night. And a lot of games that we cover. And so games tonight were more rural. It was harder to find games that were competitive, so we tried to have those games up, tried to go in and out of those games a little bit. But we knew tonight was going to have to be a little bit different. Just didn't have the same slate that we normally do. But no fear. Next Wednesday night, we'll have a lot of games again. Red Zone will be on Wednesday night, not on Friday. Wednesday, come join us, 7 o'clock, right here on KSLSports.com. for your Wednesday night Red Zone and Week 10. And then just to tease it one more time, as if that isn't enough for you next week, Saturday morning, again, not tomorrow, Saturday the 12th, next Saturday the 19th, you'll want to be on KSLSports.com at 10 a.m. as we do a live bracket reveal show. Jeff and I will break it down. It's going to be awesome, Jeff.
That's going to be fun. Finally get to see those paths because it seems like in every classification, right, everyone wants to get to Rice-Eccles. Only 4 teams are going to go to Rice-Eccles. There's 5, 6 teams, 7 teams in some classifications that feel like they could get there.
Well,
that seeding's going to matter.
And I think the other thing, I mean, you look at like a Timpview, they're not going to be a top seed.
No.
They may have a road game.
Yeah.
And so that's, for me, it's like, where do they land? And obviously they've got a big game, as do several teams, next week that will have big implications on those seedings. All right, let's wrap up tonight. A few games were going on, a couple scores we just want to make you aware of as the night comes to a close. Jeff, any games that stand out to you?
I mean, this isn't like a huge playoff implication, but Logan had to travel all the way to Cedar City in mid-October. The Reds got the best of the Grizzlies. It was 33-3, but I just thought that was weird. That in this time of year, Logan went all the way to Cedar City.
Is it cooler in Cedar City right now than it is Cache Valley?
That's a good question. It might be.
It might be. Mountain Ridge, consistent tonight, took care of business against a good Riverton team, 24-11. That Riverton team, better than their record indicates, they've had some close games, some competitive games, but they fall short tonight.
Ridgeline, they figured it out, especially in the fourth quarter. 21 fourth quarter points. They get the win, 42-3. Graham Livingston. He's in the top 5 in the country, top 2. I think he's number 2 in the country in receiving yards on the year.
Wow.
He had another couple of touchdown catches and a touchdown pass. They call it Thrillville up there in Millville because they know how exciting it is. If you haven't seen Ridgeline, go see him.
Yeah, it's been impressive. They've gotten stronger as the week's gone on, and what was a close game early did not end close. Another game in that region thought could be close. It was not. Green Canyon, big win over Bear River, 49-15, all Wolves in the region victory.
Game we had early, Morgan and Ogden. Yeah, Morgan, 62-0. They got the best of the Tigers in that one.
Let's see. I'm just looking.
And then Richfield, that's another one we had for a minute. But Richfield and Morgan continue to do what they do, 42-10.
Kanab did finish up with the win over Duchesne. We didn't really talk about uniform checks tonight. Any good looks that you thought looked especially good?
We didn't really talk about it.
We did not. I got a couple.
Okay. Nothing's coming to mind. I had a couple that I didn't really like, but we'll keep those.
Yeah, we talked a couple weeks ago about Riverton. I loved the all-purple look tonight.
The all-purple looked good. And I
thought it was
normally
good.
am not a fan of the all-one color.
Yeah.
I thought that looked well.
I thought Duchesne's were interesting. I made a comment in studio. They kind of reminded me of the Hawks jerseys from the old Mighty Ducks movie where they had like the hawk underneath the nameplate. It was a different look for the Eagles.
Interesting was a good word for it.